Well, shoot, you all of this time that you got, you could be out here, fishing more and, you know, getting more fish and then selling that fish and making money. And then he's saying, okay, and then what? Okay, well then you can take the money and, pay employees to go fish for you. Okay, and then what? Okay, then you can take all of that fish and then move to the States and then create a cannery company and then sell all of the fish that you catch in the supermarkets. And then what? And he's, showing him how to build the empire. And he's all like, okay, so I'm building this empire and now I become this big CEO. Okay, so what do I do now? Oh, get this. Now you have time to go hang out with your family, deal with your wife.
Now. Right.
No, do that later, but come, Black Cleaner. Thank you for getting into that story, because that was going to be my next question to you. The CEO and the fisherman story. Oh, damn, I lost my thought process real quick. I also had another question. But Ronan, if you got anything to say to that story, but I thoroughly understand that story. And here's my thought. You know what just made me think of you telling that story? You ever seen on Survivor where these people, they'll go out and they'll catch a fish and they'll immediately go back and eat versus trying to continue to catch fish to have more for later? I can't stand that when people do that on that show. So, but I'm landing, and that's what made me think of what you said. But that is very true. You can't stop. You got to keep going.
Wait. I missed that. You
For real?
You can't stop working, or you can start working. Which way are you saying?
No, you can't stop selling. You can't stop reaching for more.
Why?
Because if you're hungry and you got mouths to feed,
but you're not hungry. You're independently wealthy. He just gave you a scenario. You're making over 100K a month, right?
Yeah, but how he referenced
how much a year? That's $1.2 million a year you making. What you got to do?
Make sure everything is moving as it should.
You did that. You're making $100,000 a month. You done made sure everything was covered. The only thing you can do now is start living above your means in order to make or perceive that you're more successful than you would. That's why people live just a little bit above their paycheck right now. They're always about impressing the next man when you haven't picked out what makes you fucking happy, to make you stop working, to make you start wanting to enjoy your life instead of get off that goddamn hamster wheel.
Yeah, at that point, I'm making different choices. Treating me more.
Are you sure about that? Because a lot of people don't.
Nah,
I make that choice.
So it wouldn't be on fashion, because I done already done that, and I just do that, period. So there would definitely be a level up in the travel in my life. Hell yeah.
But that's the question I asked people when I was working a lot. That was the question I asked my clients. What's your FU number? What number do you need to have in your bank account before you say, you know what, I'm going to pull back some. I'm going to enjoy my kids' life. I'm going to travel the world more. I'm going to do this. Man. Think about that. So then who are you living for? Are you living for you? Are you living for your kids to go and destroy everything you built and built value into within 3 to 4 years after you die? Who are you living for? To impress the next man that's looking at you from the outside wishing they could be you? Who are you really living for? That's the question all y'all need to ask yourselves. It don't deserve an answer. I'm just saying, who you guys really living for? What is your definition of success could be a different thing to another person.
True.
When you start traveling around to these other countries, you're living in third world countries, you're living in developing nations, Panama, Philippines, places where they barely make a little bit of money, but they're the happiest people in the world. You know why? Because they move what their idea of success is. And it's not about having stuff. It was about family. It's about this. It's about other things. America keeps you on that hamster wheel saying all the things you can possess, that's your freedom. That's a fucking lie. that's built so you have to go work for somebody else and continue to fucking generate money, put yourself in debt to generate more money, to put yourself in debt to generate. You get the picture?
Yeah, I don't believe that the things you have.
But a lot of people do. That's the whole thing that we're trying to say. That I think you're saying, Keem. A lot of people do fixate themselves on success by measuring themselves against somebody else, not for what they think is success, not their definition of success. Damn anybody else that's not paying my bills or anything doing with my life, and letting them look at me from the outside in saying, that man ain't doing shit. Okay. You keep thinking that. Stay on that hamster wheel over where you at. I'm gonna keep on living my life and being comfortable.
True.
See, and Ronan has a point there, because that was one of the things that I recognized when I was quote unquote on the hamster wheel. And we was talking about it a little bit in the live last week when I was telling you how I was carrying my family in that house. And I'm like, yo, if we all get on this quote unquote hamster wheel, we'll be able to maintain this lifestyle that we have in this nice house in Stone Mountain, but also we'll be able to get more houses. We'll be able to, create this family legacy. But when it came time to pay the bill, nobody wanted to go on that path with me. But then I started to realize this when I met this Nigerian lady. She was moving to Detroit, and she was selling her condo. And I always tell this story. I asked her how much her condo was, because my house, I paid $130,000 for my house in Atlanta during the recession, and that was actually a deal because it was a 5-bedroom, 3-bedroom house. Bathroom house. She had a condo that was 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And I was like, so how much did you buy this condo for? Or how much you selling it for? She was like, well, I bought it for $8,000. I'm selling it for $15,000. I'm like, $15,000? Did I hear you correctly? Shoot, that's a car note right there. She was like, yeah, I'm just selling it for $15,000 because me and my family, we're getting together in Detroit, and we're about to start buying houses out in Detroit because they got all of these abandoned properties in Detroit that they selling for like $1, $5,000. They selling them cheap. So we're gonna go buy up the spot. So I'm just trying to hurry up and get up out of here. Everybody else in this, everybody else is selling their house for about $16,000, $17,000, their condo in here. And I'm like, I didn't even know that they had cash condos or cash houses like they got cash cars. Like how, Team, you go to the auction all the time. I didn't know that they had this type of situation. So my point being was, I'm over here and I'm paying this mortgage to live in this comfortable house when I could have actually bought a house for the price of a car. And now I ain't got to worry about, being on no treadmill to pay this pay this house note. So I ended up buying a house for cash, and now I didn't have a mortgage anymore. That allowed me to be able to now start to build. I'm not on a hamster wheel no more. I'm actually on solid ground. I'm actually on solid foundation. I can stack my money and be able to do other things with it. But tying into what Ronan said about, having your number, playing the cash flow 101 game let me understand what my number was. And my number was the total amount of my monthly expenses, which at that time was about $1,900 a month. If I was able to create passive income that exceeded $1,900 a month, I can get out of the rat race. I can actually retire early and not have to work for the man. I don't got to be on no hamster wheel no more. So when I was able to get this rental property to be renting for $1,500 a month, now all I need is $400 more, and I don't have to go work for the man no more. And I ended up buying another house cash, living in that house. And then when I was able to live in that house and I didn't have to pay a mortgage on that house, and I had my rental property over here that was $1,500 a month, I was kind of cool because it's like, all right, well, even if somebody fired me from my job, I'm not worrying about being homeless. I got a roof over my head. But then when I was able to get my disability increased to where it was over $500 a month, now I'm making $2,100 a month total. I was like, I made it. I'm out of the rat race. I don't have to go work for the man no more. I don't have to be on no hamster wheel no more. Now,
but Black, there ain't no real money. There ain't no real money in America. That's not no real money. Why are you going to quit it that much? You should be getting more than that. You should be at 8,000, 100,000 a month.
Cash flow 101.
Because it gives me the time to be able to be like the fisherman. And now, okay, I have once again, we got to the point of true freedom, just like what Keem was saying earlier. Okay.
Right.
I have the ability to go out and make millions and do what I love. But guess what? Even if I choose not to, if I don't want to leave the States, as he said, it's a choice. Some people don't want to have the passport. Well, guess what? As long as all of my bills is taken care of and I got time to be able to get up and do as I please, I can choose to go be rich if I want to, or I can choose not to. I can just go down and go fish and get enough to eat and go back and play, go and play with my children and go play with my girlfriend or my wife at the time and go into town and go play guitar and sing and go chill with my friends. I'm living the CEO's lifestyle on $2,000 a month.
Mm. Well, as far as your overhead is concerned, yeah.
Exactly. Because that's really all we want anyway, is to be able to have the time to be able to do the things that we want to do without worry and stress.
When you want to do them, that's the other part.
When you want to do it, exactly.
You want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of choice. Yeah, having the choice.
Jinx time, you owe me.
He done brought it back to the old days. Team, you want to do the comments? We got a lot of comments.
All right, hold up. I'll go out. Give me a second.
Let's see.
You gotta go a long way first.
You see that one, Ronan?
Which one? Yeah,
the one that's showing.
A month is great, but it's not considered wealthy. But reinvesting it over the next 2 years can do great things. Fine, 120K, bro. It's only $8K a month to make 100K. So if you're making $100,000 a month, that multiplier is deadly, bro. What you mean? That's not enough. That's plenty, especially if you can do it remotely.
Exactly.
You ain't
shout
got
out
to
to
stay in America.
Travel.
I don't know why y'all got cement in your damn feet where you feel like you can't move nowhere. You can move anywhere you want, whether it be in the country or out of the country. But 100K a month on a steady income, and you can do it freely with nobody telling you how to do it, and you don't have to be in the States to do it. You ain't got cement blocks on your feet ready to get thrown in a lake somewhere where you're gonna die. What the hell? Y'all got to get out of that.
Travel POV, hit the like button. Ronan,
okay.
Ronan, very interesting points. I appreciate the topic. I struggle with this daily, working to death, not enjoying life. Yeah, quality of life. You got to pick your struggles and your battles. Believe me, everything you working for, I've delivered way too many life insurance policies. I delivered way too many things after people have passed on to see what their relatives act like. I'm a witness to it. They don't appreciate nothing that you work so hard to do. Only you appreciate the hard work it took for you to get there. They are entitled You are raising entitled individuals if they are in your circumference because they ain't struggling like you are. They're watching you get up early and go to work every day. They're not having to get up and go to work every day. They think it's being printed like most of the foreign people that you'll run into when you go to some of these countries. They think it's printed in your house somewhere in the basement. You got a freaking money printer. Not that you have to work and go out and get it, blood, sweat, and tears. So when they come on it, they're entitled to it. They didn't earn it. You didn't make them earn it. And you didn't put it in a structure where you made them feel like they had to earn it. You're giving it to them. So why shouldn't they have that entitlement? But you did it all while you didn't get to enjoy your life. You did it all while you never got to take a vacation because you wanted to put in those extra hours so you can bank a couple more dollars so you can buy this other thing and put it in another investment for your legacy. Who is going to sit there and tear it up while you gave up your free time and your freedom to set up something for them?
I agree with, leaving a legacy because that's what I'm about. I am about, building and leaving, something that my kids can enjoy. But at the same time, too, I do want to do it out of love. I want it to be a labor of love and not a labor of obligation. And that's the whole point that I was talking about, like what you were saying. You were saying, why are you retired now? You're supposed to be getting $8,000 a month. You were supposed to get $100,000, $1 million. Okay, yes, I want to do that. And now I have the ability to do it on my terms versus when before I had to do it because if I didn't get up and go to work, I'd be homeless. If I didn't get up and go to work, my children won't be able to eat. If I didn't get up and go to work, I wouldn't, there's certain things that I wouldn't be able to do. But now, okay, even if I don't get up and go to work, my children ain't gonna be homeless. I'm not gonna be homeless. My family ain't gonna be hungry. Everybody's all fed and everybody's all taken care of. So now when I get up, I'm getting up a little bit more refreshed. I'm getting up, with saying, well, what do I want to do? Oh, I want to build a legacy? Let's go build this legacy. Come on, y'all. Now it's, even and as they say, if you enjoy what you're doing, you've never worked a day in your life. And that's true.
I told my sons that very thing. Go find something you love to do so that when you get up every day, you're literally leaping up out the bed to go to. And guess what? Through your exuberance and excitement, you're going to get other people around you while you're just doing your regular job that you love to do. They're going to be so enthused about being around you, they're going to want to do business with you, period.
Exactly. What's that say from Products for Less 409?
5 million loaded into treasury bonds or money market funds, draw 4% per year.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
so what's 4% of $5 million? 1% of $5 million is what? 500,000. So that's what? 2 million a year. That's what he's basically saying. So because 4%, 5 times 4 is 20. So 20 million. 200,000. Am I doing it right? No, I said 2 million.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
I know my math is all wrong. 1% of $5 million is what? Let's start there. That's how I'll be able to get my math right. I'm thinking it's 500, but it might be 50.
It's 50K.
It's 50,000. Okay, so 50 times is 200,000. He's 200,000 a year. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay, so $200,000 a year. As that's what you'll be getting. That's actually a decent salary.
No, it's 50K a year. That's the menial income right now. If you're just living off the interest, you're living off the menial income that maybe 40% of Americans are making, 50K or less or something like that. Even at 50K a year, if you're in a whole nother country living off that 4% interest, How much better are you doing than the next man? And then how much freedom do you have, like Black Cleaner is saying, to think about other ways of making income and developing income streams if you're free and clear, not having to clock in, clock out. You're living off of $50K a year, break that down by monthly, in a country where you don't have that much overhead while you're expanding your income stream in other avenues that you're more interested in doing. Never touching the basis of that 50 million, which is gaining interest, hopefully in something better than what you just named off. Because I can tell you, go get in the IUL or a Roth IRA. At least you're not going to have to pay taxes when you go and pull that money out. It's growing tax free.
Okay.
That hit hard.
Salute, E-Man Perry. What's going on, brothers?
And pretty much that's basically what it is, what you was just talking about is that's what I live off of, roughly 50K a year. And yeah, I could, be able to be comfortable in the United States with 50K, but really in Atlanta, you need at least 60 or 70K to be able to be comfortable living in Atlanta versus being out of the country. You only need 25K to be able to live comfortably in most of these developing countries. So I'm able to live comfortably off of 25K and then stack the other 25K and then use that money to be able to reinvest it into other avenues to be able to make more money. So that's the key right there.
Freedom. When you don't have any overhead, you don't have any restrictions on your creativity. It's not stifled. It allows you to think freely. You don't have that pressure over your head in order to make rent. And
then you have time to be able to, do those things that you need to do. Example, Keem was talking about, there was some investment ideas, some creative ideas that he would want to do. Now this gives you that time. Same thing here with this whole YouTube thing that I'm doing right now. I ain't making no money on YouTube, but I get on here every Monday to, put out this content because number one, it's something that I'm building. I'm building, a network. I'm building a community. I'm building content that, that will become intellectual property later down the line.
Right.
So I might not be able to eat on it right now, but it's just like being a farmer. Okay, you plant the seeds in the ground, you go out there, you water it, you give it fertilizer, you give it sunshine, you do all of the things necessary to get the seeds to germinate, to shoot down roots into the ground, and then eventually branches pop up, which will start to bear fruit that you can harvest and sell or harvest and eat. It's the same thing in this YouTube game. That's all that we're doing when we, create this content and put it out. So right now, it's not paying me right now, but eventually it'll turn into something. If not just the community giving me, people that I can network with that will give me ideas that will turn into something.
True.
I mean, even with that, it becomes a legacy for even your children to understand.
Exactly.
Your grandchildren to understand what your mindset was.
Mm-hmm.
What type of things that you champion in life. Not the things they saw you, but sometimes they don't get to see it.
Yo, hold on. Somebody is snoring in somebody's back.
Oh, that's my what happens is when I'm not talking, I have all of these fans around and you're hearing the air whistle through the speaker.
Yeah, because we've been
asking I got all the ceiling fans.
What the hell is that noise? Now we know.
Yes, the ceiling fans, the air is going through the speaker.
Nigga, I done turned my AC off to get on this panel. I'm getting hot in this bitch. I'm about to turn my AC back on. Because it's hot in Mass right now.
Is it? What's your temperature there?
right now at this moment. Hold up, let me see. I can't see my tip right now. I don't want to go out my phone right now. Hold up, I'm gonna find it. Real quick. No, it's not showing me on the tablet, but it's at least like 70 something right now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like 78 degrees at night right now. I'm gonna truly get a feel for it. I'll let you know. I won't let you know after that. I don't know how long we're gonna be on the panel, but I gotta go out and stop my car tonight. And I usually get a True Just when I go sit in the car, start it up.
Okay. Well, we got 15 watching. Could y'all hit the like button, please? Cost you nothing to hit the like button.
Right, the stream's out there. If anybody want to get up here and comment on the topics tonight,
let me drop the link in my chat. But all I ask you to do, if you're in my room, please subscribe to Black Cleaner's channel. And I'll drop his link in the chat here in a little while if you won't have it.
Yes, and everybody here for the Black Cleaner. The process for Mr. Ronin.
Yeah, definitely appreciate. So what do you think about the whole Daphne, Joy, and 50 situation, and how, we was talking about how you could see based on her actions now. I didn't show the whole video, but I did show some of it, and 50 was right, because now she's advertising her OnlyFans even more instead of crying victim like all of the other females that's on Diddy's case.
Okay, so wait a minute. Daphne is 50 Cent's woman or Diddy's woman?
Okay. Daphne is 50 Cent's baby's mother, and he found out that she was doing the Cassie. She was a part of the freak off party.
Okay. Hey, that's a whole nother industry right there. That industry in itself, they got to be very aware that none of these chicks are loyal and none of these dudes are loyal to their chick. There's too much stuff flying around.
Agreed.
With it, I'm happy with him. But if he wasn't okay with it, then he should have picked better. But the fact that she's an OnlyFans model before he met her, this is after.
It might have been after after they separated, because he said he hasn't been with her for 12 years. So OnlyFans just recently came out.
Here's another thing. Why are we associating somebody after a 12-year relationship as somebody that belongs?
Right.
Broke up with 12 years ago. That's way too long for you to be associated to me.
Well, you already know. It's also because 50 did the hit piece on Diddy on the Netflix, and so this was a way for Diddy to be able to get the last laugh, to be like, oh yeah, you put a baby in this chick, but look at what she was doing with me 12 15 years ago. you chose one of my broads type of situation.
I mean, the industry is the industry. A lot of guys are switching up chicks in the same industry. They know that. I mean, wasn't Floyd Mayweather taking old boy from St. Louis as the rapper's girl? Weren't they trading off for a while?
I don't know the one. I know the one from Atlanta that he was beefing with was T.I. because he was hearing about. That's what you're talking about, right?
I forgot his name. He's in St. Louis.
Oh, Nelly?
Nelly, yeah. Him and Mayweather share the same couple girls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, now you got even my boys Sanders, Deion Sanders, messing with old Kirsten Brown's old girl, Nietzsche, or whatever her name is. And that's the industry. You can only date certain people in that industry because what? People run their fucking mouths too much. So you can only trust certain women in that industry and they pass them around. That's a known thing. Why am I going to feel shame about that? I knew what I was getting into. She knew what she was getting into. She was trusted. I mean, what's the crazy girl with the frizzy hair that dated the basketball player, has a baby? How many dudes has she been around with? Shaq, everybody. That's just the nature of that game. You know, the fact that somebody's trying to make you feel ashamed about who you dated, that's some baby ass kitty shit. Who gives a fuck? Ain't nobody making money like 50 Cent. All the different productions he's doing, from his music to the actual TV shows and dramas he's got put on. How you gonna shame a man like that? He's doing his thing, right? As a man, that's what he's doing. Regardless of how many people he got on his belt. Diddy is trying to cover up for some shit. You ain't gonna shame me at doing my shit.
Nah, hell no.
Coming to the stage, we got 020 Financial Frontier. What's going on, family?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
You
Sound raspy though, but we hear you.
Nah, he over there relaxed as hell, trying to give his damn Usher voice or Keith Sweat voice or whatever.
See, there we go. Good morning to you.
What's up, bro? Are you back from Bali or wherever? Where were you?
No, I'm still in Switzerland. I'm
Okay.
here for about a month at least.
All
minimum.
right now. So what's
They hit
going
me
on,
over the
man?
head for the money, but it's all good.
We talk about money all the time. Me, you, your show, our shows, different things like that. On the money mindset, comfort versus freedom. Now, with you being in your mode right now, you're comfortable, but you're also looking at income streams, and you're always looking for an opportunity. But at least you're in a mode where you're enjoying your time. I know you know a lot of people that are wealthy, but still on that grind, and they don't know how to get that quality of life.
Roland, we getting the echo.
Yeah, I think it's financial freedom.
Since OTO came up, that's the effect we get. Maybe you might need to turn your volume down a little bit, bro.
Yeah, just did it. I got you. My bad. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's the question. You've seen people of all types because of your lifestyle and the type of people you're around. Wealthy individuals that know how to relax and take time for themselves, and ones that are always on the grind and don't know how to do that quality of life thing.
Yeah, facts. Hold on. Let me get my headset so it's better. Hold on. Just give me a sec.
All right. But yeah,
Well, he's going. Let me get to these comments. Hold on a second. Okay, products. Freedom is. Oh shoot! How'd that happen? Oh, that was Ronan.
Yo, who's molested Hog Boy?
Never heard of him.
About to go. I don't have time for clowns today.
And he says, I'm not gay, by the way. Get him the fuck out of here, please. That comment was super old, so
Put you on timeout.
Facts, new comments. There is a chick that has 3 kids by 3 different NFL players. Okay. And what is that? Let's unpack that. The whole. That's her maximizing her cheek clapping in order to get comfort, don't you think? Because of course she's getting 3 separate child support checks from 3 different NFL players.
But here's the thing: the 3 NFL players are the idiots.
Mm-hmm.
You know you have a net worth, and you sitting out there clapping without any kind of rain hat. You don't give a fuck if you got to pay child support to 13 people. That's on you. That's your money management skills. That's what you plan on doing with your life, is giving your money to everybody else that ain't really putting in the time and the effort to get you where you were. You dumb.
True.
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Spit your facts. Because
Yeah,
you've been
yo,
around, you in those environments.
Yo, shout outs to the question though, like you said. I think there was this big kind of, I guess you could say, statement that I heard one time, and it was a quote, basically, the world, and it goes like this, quote, the world is divided by two people, those that don't know how to start making money and those that don't know when to stop. And I think that was a big turning point for me, just learning when to stop, because by the time you build yourself out to have all these habits and behaviors and mindsets, it's hard to switch gears, turn that off, and change it into a state of maybe harvesting your fruits of your labor instead of always, plotting to plan and grow the fruits of your labor. So at the end of the day, I think that's something that people just have to learn if they want to. I think everything has to do with drive and desire. I've heard people who come from great backgrounds, bad backgrounds, no background. I mean, all these things are just a bunch of variables, but the drive and the determination to get themselves to a certain destination was the actual ultimate driving factor between financial freedom or no financial freedom. So, yeah. I think it's big to switch gears and enjoy your fruits of your labor. For me, some people, they got their own right to live their own life. And so whatever their forever purpose is, like Elon Musk, that dude's going to probably work until he croaks out. Okay, cool. I'm going to leverage it by owning his assets and allowing him to work for me in eternity. Shout outs to people like Jensen, right? He'll work for NVIDIA. He's been working for him for 30 years. And prior to that, he worked for 15. So 45, 40 years he's been working. And he's not looking to stop anytime soon. So those are those people's journey. But if I'm a smart individual, I'll just leverage their hard work and dedication for my own profit and my own financial security and gains. So that's how I kind of see it. It depends on what you want to do with your own life. But for me and people like Ronan, we decided to make an exit at a certain point and enjoy the fruits of our labor, which is very important.
Yeah.
So let's.
In your casual conversations with different people and in the environment that you're in, have you ever came and had this kind of conversation with certain people, like just casual, like, yo, you look comfortable? What do you have that number that you've already attained that now that you're in a comfort zone, or you still got that push? I know you've had casual conversations before.
Yeah. So conversations with other people, it's usually overhead that usually kills them. So as much as you might think someone makes a lot of money, they never make a lot of money depending on the lifestyle they live. Or also too, they don't have investment vehicles that could feed the geese, like get them what they need to get. And that's okay, because what you really need is financial literacy. Like, people think investments are inferior to earn income or active work, which is false. I think with the Floyd Mayweather, I forgot what's his name, Shannon Sharp and Senko or something. They were talking and they were like, yeah, Floyd, he's going bankrupt because you can't maintain that lifestyle in retirement because, your investments can't outpace your active income or active compensation. And that's false, right? There was a man who invested 50 grand into SpaceX. Now he's a billionaire. There's no NBA player that could ever do something like that for the most part with just 50 grand. And so at the end of the day, investments are very superior, but what level are your investments? How sophisticated are you to get that type of return on your investments is the difference. And all that stuff can be done in a state of retirement with far less hours, far less time, energy, and attention, right? So at the end of the day, it's about knowing that. And a lot of people don't know that. They probably just built real estate portfolio and that's all they know. They're like Ben Mahlers. They're working until they're too old, and then they're like, damn, I got all this real estate, what am I going to do? How do I repivot? That's all they know, right? So it's hard to get them to try to manage that wealth differently. If it's not broken, they don't want to fix it, and it actually worked quite well for them. But then they have overhead, they have generational wealth they're thinking, and so all these things end up being beasts of burdens that don't allow them to enjoy the fruits of labor or think that their number is 3x. And they did a survey. They went to everybody who had money from 10 billion to 100 billion to 300 billion. And every last one of them said that their exit number was 3x of what they already had. And so that's also a mindset.
But
You know
then
what
when
I'm
they
saying?
get, they get to that 3x, and it's like, nah, another 3x, another 3x.
Another 3x, another 3x, or some stuff like that.
Right.
So, but I mean, they're a 1%er, right? So it takes a certain mindset to get there, and it's definitely not easy just to snap your fingers and now you're thinking like, oh, let me just frolic in the sun. It's just hard. Jeff Bezos back, right? Project Prometheus. You know, they can't just stay out the game.
You can't get it out your blood, man, because it's part of your drive. But that's what I'm saying. It can be a casual way of doing it, and then it could be like, oh, I got to get my hands dirty type of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of those guys are, I want to get my hands dirty. You know, like I missed the hustle. It was like money making Mitch, man. When, you know, Ace was like, let's get out the game. And he was like, man,
Will the game still respect
love
me?
You know what I'm saying? I feel
Exactly.
like Michael Jordan, one of them ball playing ninjas, you know? I get love in Harlem. So that's the whole thing. Like when you get out the game, you just an army. You don't have that camaraderie. You don't have that drive, but you could create it. I decided to create my own. It's just different, but It doesn't feed the geese for some.
Well, I was about to ask you one question to spin the block, but you had me think about another question of what you was talking about. Because, well, let me first ask you this question. Have you ever played the game Cash Flow 101?
No.
Okay.
Sounds like an interesting game.
Oh, yeah, definitely check it out.
Wait, is that Robert Kiyosaki?
Yeah, that's Robert Kiyosaki's board game.
Yeah,
He actually has the app.
Yep. I did.
Okay, so of course in the game he talks about getting out of the rat race, which is your passive income has to exceed your expenses. But then he talked about getting onto the fast track, and basically what you was just talking about in, you know, layman's terms is what he was talking about in terms of the fast track, where you're now 3xing your money because you're investing in these what they call accredited investor deals. But in order to become an accredited investor, you first have to be able to duplicate or 10x your money to be able to, as they say, you got to be have at least $1 million or more in income coming in order to be an accredited investor.
Not income, but you're tracking. It's just net worth.
Exactly.
You have at least 200,000 for 2 consecutive years, with the third year being projected of 200,000, and then of course I think it's 300,000 if you're married or with some spouse, yeah. And so that runs the same too, and that's not including your primary house. So a lot of people, kind of millionaires because of some house they bought, right, and it just appreciated. That's like a real large bulk of them, not net worth beyond that outside of the primary house. So yes, that's true, but that's kind of changing with different certain type of vehicles out there. But it's hard to get the X because it might just be a fund, right? But they're trying to open it up a little bit more for people who are not accredited, and the ways they have done it is still like a fund, like Ark and Venture and other things, and that's not an endorsement of it. It's just an example of one. But 10Xing, I mean, literally, I just put on something on my X. You're more likely to get a 10-bagger, which is a 10X, with a decacorn, which is $100 billion to $1 trillion company, than you are with those small venture capital enterprises. You're 30% more likely. So when you go down to those small venture capitals, man, it's like let me be conservative, 8%, 13% that you're likely to get it. VC money has a big failure rate. So at the end of the day, with the new companies, because economies of scale, just economics are changing, you're more likely to get that 10X in the public market now. I mean, look at NVIDIA. It's just a 6X already. And that's just in the last 3-4 years. That's a 6-bagger. So you're almost halfway there. And that's just one. Then if you follow it up with Google, it's a 4-bagger. There goes your 10. Because in 2018, there was only one company worth $1 trillion, and then that was Apple. Now there's like 8, 9. So The game has changed tremendously, and that's because these companies are extremely bigger. They have larger ecosystems. But yes, going back to what you were saying, to get that, I got it in the public market, so that's where I get mine. But it's kind of like, if I could describe it, I don't want to go on a tangent for a sec. I'm good.
Yeah, you good. Keep going. You cooking.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so for mines, I got mines just from the public market. But a lot of things with the public market, and this is still cool, but it's kind of like when I used to do real estate, industrial real estate. We used to buy it from just like somebody who owned a warehouse, and that's it, right? And then we would get it, mark up rents, put in a system, of course, increase net operating income, and then it would have a higher valuation after that. So we would run it like a system in a business. The previous owner probably just collected rents from everybody by hand, a check. They never created no internal systems or anything like that. So we bought it from him and then advanced it, and then the same property created more cash flow, right? Then after that, we sold it off to a bigger guy, which was probably like a REIT, JP Morgan REIT, because it was stabilized. After that, they would want to take pension money, hedge fund money, and put it into that actual real estate that's been stable. They don't do no fix and flips, and they don't do no add value strategies. They just do core plays. So the real estate's got to be stable. It's got to make a certain type of revenue and net operating income for a certain period of time for them to invest in it. So we were able to sell it for a larger price to them. The same thing is with stocks, right? And so I have to see the value in the company before everybody sees all the profit, all the revenue. You have to see where the company is going, just like for real estate, right? When it looks beat up and crappy, some people have that magic Hoyt eye from training day. They can see the value, and they'll know what they need to do in order to add that value. The next person, most people will say, man, that's valueless. Why are you buying this piece of junk? You can't make no money with this. They don't see the value until it's turnkey ready. But by that time, all the juice is gone, right? That let's say that 7X. You can get a 2, you can get a 1, you could get a 3, but the 7, the 8, the 10, that's already eaten out of it. And so stocks are the same thing. You have to see the company, make the investments, understand the products and services, and then by the time everybody else realizes it on the balance sheet, everybody's in the 10Ks, and they're looking at the financial projections like, look. You already seen it because you saw the factory build out, right? You saw the deals being committed, like saw the CapEx. Go ahead.
I got a question for you, Otuo, to give people another idea of your mindset. You just mentioned about selling off a company. Some people want to hold on to their baby, that company they started, with a tight ass grip, and they don't know how to let go. Why did you decide to sell your company instead of doing what most people do? I'm going to do an IPO and I'm going to sell off shares of my company and I'm going to go public. Why did you decide to go that direction instead of sell?
Yeah, that's probably like one of the things that is too advanced. That's another add value. Like literally, it's not that bad, but that's complicated to most people. I'm not saying it's complicated, you can't do it. Heck yeah. I often say with Yeezy, he should have just went public instead of adding massive amounts of value as a private entity to other public companies, which was like the Gap, Nike, Adidas. If he just would have went public, it would have been massive amounts of value right there, and nobody could fire him or no longer do a partnership, because at that time, institutional money, hedge funds would have been invested. So they can't just pull capital out. Like, it's not like that, right? Like, a bunch of companies are going to be forced to buy SpaceX. Like, even with the financials not being right where they should in a general sense. So at the end of the day, doing a play like that, most people aren't up on that game. That's that next level. So they just hold on to their companies, and that's all they know, and they're beast of burdens. And it's even hard for them to sell it because most companies don't sell, because most entrepreneurs or anybody want to build their own. They don't think of really buying somebody else.
And that's the biggest, to me, that's the biggest negative, the way I learned how business works. There's nothing that you don't build that you can't get from underneath of it if you're offered the right amount of money. It's called business for a reason. It's not your baby. It's not your blood. It's business.
Yeah,
So
that's
if you
another
can't
thing.
get off of it, or if you don't get the right kind of money, if you feel like that money is worth it, then you can always start something else. Get up off of that and reinvest in something else. Go ahead.
No. I was going to build on that because that's
Yeah.
another thing. I try to do a lot of merger and acquisitions, or just acquisitions, we could say, of businesses. But a lot of the owners are hard-headed. Like, they have a lot of sweat equity and a lot of love for their quote-unquote baby. So even though their baby is not performing, right, they go into jail.
They ride it to jail.
They don't got good grades, but they like, that's my baby. My baby is a good kid. And you like, no, it's not. So the same thing goes with the business. The
I can
business
make it better, but you don't want to get up off of it. So hey,
you don't want to
down.
get up off it.
Yeah.
You want
The best thing you
literally
can do is get out of your own way, because that's a lot of times what does prevent people from making money.
Some people are blind to that, and that's why they fail. There are certain times where you can grow something up to a certain level that you have your experience for it. You haven't grown enough to allow other people to come in and work for you that know more than you because of your ego. Eventually, that company is going to stall off because you have no better ideas. And if you don't know how to get underneath of it, you're going to ride that motherfucker from the top all the way back down to the bottom when it ain't worth shit. And then somebody will buy it out pennies on the dollar and fix all your fucking problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that was the greatest thing. Listen, one of the things I did in sales when I used to go into companies, I used to take their worst clients, the clients that nobody wanted because they were headaches. But you know what my mindset was? They were clients of yours before. Somebody or something must have pissed them off. You don't know how to repair the relationship. So now they're a problem. But that was warm market to me because you knew the service level that the company had the capability of doing it, and you trusted us once. I used to fix relationships all day long and make a grip off of customers that were quote unquote supposed to be bad customers or bad clients because people don't know how to fix relationships no more. They want that easy, fast money. They don't want to go back and do any follow-up. Give me attitude don't fucking work for people that are senior in certain things. There's a certain level of decorum that you have to have when you conduct business, and some of these younger guys didn't have it. I used to take all old business and all old clients and repair them all and make a grip off of doing it. It's a mindset.
And
now, speaking of the whole mindset situation, so in terms of comfort or freedom, what
is the best? Somebody got that call coming through. I would say definitely follow up. Okay. Got the playback. Go ahead. Okay, so I would definitely say freedom. Yeah, because at the end of the day, freedom still allows me to decide how I'm going to use my time, energy, and attention and my money. Right. So at the end of the day, I still am involved in managing my estate, but I'm able to do it at my discretion and turn it on and turn it off. So freedom is the ultimate thing. Comfort, I kind of just don't look at it like that because that's just a variable that moves here and there. Sometimes I want to put myself in a position that's uncomfortable to, of course, increase my overall performance. So right. I still you go to the gym, right? Like I got to get uncomfortable in the gym in order to gain muscle mass. And the same thing goes for financial literacy and everything else about life. So I don't look at it like a state of comfort. It's more of a state of freedom.
It's weird that you said that, the whole comfort thing, because, in order for me to actually be where I'm at right now, do you know how many fixer-upper houses that I had to live in while they were being fixed up? People did, and it's funny because I sacrificed many relationships because I was living in my house while it was under construction. And the chick did not want to be living in discomfort with me. They was like, hey, call me when you get it finished. I'm going to be over here. Are you going to come over here and help me? Are you going to come over here and, give me some lunch? Are you going to, do anything over here? Nah, just let me know when you finish and I'll come when everything is done. So when they did that, that let me know, okay, well, you ain't the right person to be with me, because, you know, the person who is not willing to sacrifice their comfort for the freedom that will be coming later, we on the wrong path, because you on that path, you're always going to stay on the path of comfort. You're not going to be willing to sacrifice your comfort in order to be free. So therefore, I had to, you know, when I would finish the job, you know, just like in the story, The Little Red Hen, you know, not I said the duck, not I said the cat, not I said the dog. Okay, I'll do it. And then when you know, when she finished baking the cake, she was like, all right, well, who's going to help me eat this mug? Everybody was like, me. She was like, yeah, psych your mind. I'm eating this by myself with me and my kid. And that's what I did. I did the same thing. I finished the house up. It was all nice and ready to be, you know, moved in or lived in. And I'm like, you want to help me? You want to move in here with me? Oh yeah, I'm already got a bags all packed. I'm like, well, I already rented it out. I'm on to the next project. What? Who's gonna move in here? Girl, I thought you was gonna help me. Because we both thought wrong, didn't we? And you know, and we moved on, because it is, and that's the reason I'm bringing that up, is because of the whole 50 Daphne situation, where you could see, you know, he's looking for ownership. He's out here building things to be able to have ownership, and as we was just talking about, to be able to increase his bottom line, increase his, you know, income coming in. She's over here just looking for access. She's looking for that comfort.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole problem with our community. Our community, women want a ready-made product. They don't want to sit in and grind out with the guy and see the potential that the guy has and his direction. They don't want that. They want you after the fact. That's why they get so stoked and so upset that the women that did actually put in the work and put in the grind with the dude in order to see him grow. Whether he's in the industry or not, whether he's in the NFL or whatever. Some of these kids have known these girls since they were in high school, you know, some in college. You know, I think I did a live where a girl said, I wouldn't buy you a cup of coffee, a Starbucks. But yet and still, some of these college girls were doing the Starbucks. They were massaging them. They were doing the things they needed to do to support that man while he was potentially going to be an NFL player. Nobody knows. Everybody's not guaranteed to go to the NFL. Okay. Whether you play college ball or not. Okay. So,
but to speak to that,
right, the ones that do make it, all of a sudden, everybody in our communities upset. Oh, he just giving his wealth to another community. Well, you weren't there to help. What does it matter?
You know, but to speak to that, you know, because I've seen that in what I have come to understand, because I was watching Atlanta. And there was an episode, Champagne Poppy. I mentioned it early in the live, but I was talking about it's all fake. There ain't no Drake. But there was also a point where this girl goes to the party to be able to see this dude who she's been crushing on forever. And then when she shows up at the party, the dude was like a baller, but he's there with this white girl. And she's over there, and she's, you know, the white girl and her are sitting there by themselves, and that, you know, they're having this little stare down, and, you know, of course the white girl's all like, yo, what are you looking at me for? She's all like, I can't stand girls like you, always trying to take our men, you know, out of our community, basically saying the same thing that you were saying. And then the girl was saying, well, you know, I was there when, like you said, when he was in the dorm, helping him study, helping him pass his test, giving him massages when he would come home from practice. You know, I was there when, you know, he wasn't sure in his mind that he was going to be able to make it. I was giving him the affirmations to, you know, instill in him the confidence to be able to complete what's going on. You know what the black girl said? Ain't nobody got no time for that.
Exactly.
Shout out to her. I would add to that. I would tell men, at least if they're listening. Same if women are hearing too. I don't give a damn. Like I think all this stuff. Like you won't find much. It's not even our community. That's just people. You won't find much men like that neither. Most men don't want to work with you, collaborate if you don't have the value, if you don't have the expertise. Also, it's only some small few that will come along the lot, maybe see a drive and determination in you that they used to have, and then give you a plug or a play. But at the end of the day, that's just a story of life and struggle. So she ain't do nothing but a favor to me. I'm not really mad at that. Like, thanks for telling me that you don't want to support the grind and support the hustle. But that's her right. She has a right to live out her life. She don't have to accept a non-ready, package deal. So at the end of the day, it's no sweat. Like, she has her freedom, you have yours. You choose your destiny, she shall choose hers. I'm in the Alps. Where are you at? And so life will be the true testament. It will be the true quantifier. So when I really look back to not only just a chick, I'm not even worried about chicks. My family, mostly, who was like, nah, we good. We're not going to follow this real estate plan. We're not going to follow this hack house. You always talking about that money stuff. You need to shut your little dumb self up. I knew you when you was in draws and isotona since age. So they could go along with that. I'm not tripping. I'm not bugging, right? It's all good. It's their life. I'm the one on financial freedom. That's not the key to everybody. So at the end of the day, I have to pay the dues. I have to pay the tab. But of course, I'm going to bear the fruits of my labor and enjoy it. Now, when you get there and you arrive, of course, everybody pulls up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People pull up. You watch the videos where people was a singer and they blew up. Then the father came out of nowhere like, hey, son. The mama's like, I knew my boy should always do it. When she was telling you, like, I Show Speed style, to shut the hell up and stop streaming every day. But once he got put on, then his mom came up and was like, hey, I Show Speed, how you doing? I love me some I Show Speed. But at the time, it wasn't like that when he was going through the struggle. But you just have to push. I think that makes the story better. I don't like to take away from it. I don't wish it was just a fairy tale and all easy. I prefer it being like that. It's completely fine because it makes me a more solidified male. It makes me more ready in the long run. That's light work. When you get to the top, you don't think people are coming for the throne, and you need to know these nuances of those who are going to be there or not going to be there and know the difference between that. So just be grateful at your lower stage you had experience with that. And if you develop the right mindset, then you'll be able to evolve and adapt and overcome it when it comes at a higher level, because the game and the gig gets only higher. Now you're thinking you getting the best escorts now trying to run same game on you. You get the best shorties out the game trying to run this plot and scheme on you. And then you end up like athletes, duped, right? By a simpleton broad, right? So I think that kind of helps, but you're just going to have to adapt and overcome. And that comes with all people, not just the romantic, platonic, and familiar bonds. All of it's going to come like that because people are just like that.
But I also wanted to add too, because what I didn't want to say that story, but what I also recognize as well too, because I have been in those situations where, okay, the women, the sisters didn't want to help me or couldn't help me versus, the Japanese girl who was able to help me, or the Spanish girl that was able to help me. A lot of times, the reason that these women was able to help me is because they came from a financial situation where they could afford to. Meaning, when I use the example of the white girl, okay, if the dude ran off on the plug, okay, after getting to the NBA and becoming successful and becoming a baller and all of that, and he's like, all right, well, thank you for helping me, and then chose the sister in the end. What's going to happen with that girl over there? She was already in an affluent situation. So all she's going to do is just cry and go back to daddy and then just reset. She really didn't lose anything. Versus a lot of times when you have people coming from our community, if we take that chance or take that investment with you and then we lose out, we could take it's going to be a hard hit to recover from. That's what I hear from a lot of times from, our family, our community, is because This is all I have, and if you run off on the plug, I'm finished.
Yeah, but I think like, well, I always put it like this, man. Most of the broads that I've ever been with, they winning too. So there's no way that I'm actually leveling up and my broad ain't leveling up too. I mean, like, that's the standard at the end of the day. She don't need to have the same grit and hustle, but she does need to have financial literacy. So, I mean, like, whether I got a Ling Ling in Thailand or a shorty from Poland, they all had stock accounts. They all had dividends paying them. They came from modest backgrounds where they were like, I never thought that I'd be a Polish girl getting paid dividends from pharmaceutical companies because I put them on game. They saw how I moved, and I also only talked to them like, shorties don't be talking to me about like dogs and cats. I don't let shorties actually communicate a lot. They mostly are listening to me talk about my financial shit and all this other stuff I be talking about. So I'm the number one communicator in my relationships. And then in turn, they get a lot of game. So even when we're not together anymore, they're like, man, I love being with you because when we were no longer together, I still had value. I still had things that I got and was able to take away from the relationship, which still helps them to this day. So I think a lot of times, even if I'm winning and I'm leveling up, of course she's not going to level up as high as me. But once she exit off her off ramp, she still has something to fall back on, right? I remember one time one of my shorties was like, oh, I want to buy my house now because she finally stacked her paper, right? And she was like, so where would you want to live? I said, look, I could live anywhere I want in the world. Don't make this financial decision based off of me. Make it on your own. Because if we break up, I don't want you to be mad at me because I like Portugal and you got a house in Portugal now and we're no longer together. Make this whole choice on your own. Now me, I'm indifferent. I want her to win even if she's not with me. I'm not one of those guys who's like, I don't want you to win, or if you win, you might break up with me. I'm not scared.
Take advantage of it.
I'm gonna take advantage of it, living in scarcity. If you get money, you richer than me, you better than me. I'm a whole man, bro. Like, you never gonna be better than me, the type of man I wanna be. So at the end, even if your bag was larger, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you can make those choices. And I think like if you have a relationship that's built on that, then people can understand and be willing to commit and make these sacrifices because the payoff is in the relationship in itself, not once you sign a contract. Now you blew up. All she did was ice your knee. And then she's like, damn, you ain't never teach me nothing along the way. I was never build nothing for myself. Like, I don't like that. I always want you to have a plan where you could build on while simultaneously we building on my plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nah, it makes plenty of sense because I'm the same way. Every woman that I have dated ever since, me leaving Japan, I have always elevated in some form of fashion. Can't none of them say, hey, he done took from me or he done, did this to me, because just like you, anytime I come into knowledge, I'm going to share it. Now, you might consider it to be boring knowledge or whatever, but then I've had some people who they thank me because of the knowledge that I shared with them. I always talk about, the girl that me and her, we wrote a book together. And she lived in Zimbabwe and we played cash flow together. And just from her, playing cash flow, she understood, how to be able to get out of the rat race and be able to, do something with her life, because she was saying, well, I was just going to follow my father. I was, my father worked for Coca-Cola Zimbabwe. I was just going to, try to just go be somebody's wife. And I tried to do the wife thing and it didn't work out. So now I got to be able to, provide for my children that I have. And you are the one who actually gave me a game plan or a blueprint on how to do that. And I thank you. And she went to nursing school. She got out of nursing school. She's a nurse now making 6 figures, a traveling nurse. And she was able to buy real estate in Canada and also in Zimbabwe. And she's like, yo, it was you who put that in my mind. And I thank you for it. And then there's other females that I've dealt with. They, as you said, they got the knowledge to be able to be independent, to be able to create their own businesses and do their own thing. They haven't done what I've done, but at least they was able to say, something, he didn't leave me out here high and dry.
Yeah, exactly. I be thinking those relationships really be built on I'm playing football, I'm focused 100% on football, and I'm chilling at the house, and we ain't talking about much but my game footage. You icing me, you doing this and doing that, and then that's the relationship, and we banging, right? And that's the relationship. It ain't no, all right, shorty, let's sit down. I'm gonna show you this financial projections. I'm gonna show you like, nah. So that's why the other person feels like all I did was campaign for you, and now I'm left high and dry. But I always tell people, like, never do nothing like that. Like, always look at what's in it for you. That's not a bad thing. Just to misuse it and abuse it is a bad thing. That's the only difference, right?
Yeah.
So when I
Keem always talks
brothers,
about that, being used or being utilized. There's a difference.
yeah, exactly. That's a great point then. So yeah, I would say that, but I did want to just touch on this for a second. No Diddy, but I was thinking like, what I had to say that. So I was talking to a brother just recently. You know, he's looking at it now. When it comes to like starting a business, because I know a lot of people think about that. I'm just an investor. You know, I got rich off of a 9-to-5. So I do believe you can get rich by working for other people. And I usually promote that along with entrepreneurship. That's good too. But one of the things with entrepreneurship also is like, bro, there's so many businesses to buy out here. It's easy in America. I think the problem, not even just with our community, with Americans and all people is most of the time y'all hear stories telling y'all that it's all doom and gloom. Yeah? You don't know somebody really playing on your psyche. They getting rich off of selling you the story. Not necessarily. They don't get rich off of making you rich. You get what I'm saying? Like, all the people that are influenced, they don't get rich off of making you rich. They get rich off of selling you a story about getting rich. Whether it be the prices are going down, it's doom and gloom. Most of y'all want to click on that versus everything's good and going up. So at the end of the day, they're just playing on that. So I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying it is what it is. So at the end of the day, it's imperative that you understand that opportunities are all around the corner, especially if you broke. Like, I got money and I can't do this grant. I can't get this down payment because I make too much money. But the next man, he could buy the house for free or get paid to buy it because of his position, right? SBA, you can go get SBA financing and buy a business that's already profitable. I'm like, because especially in America, because people don't want to take over their family business. They don't want that boring HVAC business, that plumbing business, that carpenter business. They don't want it. They're like, nah, I'm going to go be an influencer. You feel me? So the business owner's just left with closing the doors and firing everybody. That's 70% of all profitable businesses. They just close the door and fire everybody. There's no sell. And so there's so much, as they call it, the silver tsunami, people retiring right now that had businesses that's been profitable for 10, 20 years, put everybody through college, fed their whole generation, right? Those people who had money and had wealth, those kids don't want the business. They don't care. And this is a great position for blacks to take advantage of and buy out these businesses from them and take over profitable business. Instead of building from the ground up, you already have client base, you already have revenue, the banks will give you money. Did you know buying a business, it's easier to get pre-approval for the financing than it is for your house?
Yeah, because they already know there's a rate of return.
They like, okay, bet.
Simple math for them, you know, you already a profitable business, and all you're trying to do is buy it from underneath somebody that can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more. They like, and guess what? All you had to do was click buttons on a computer, because all they do is send you the CMI. You take all the finances and then you send them over to the lender. He looks at them and he's like, here's your pre-approval letter. Let them know that we're ready to make a deal and close. Boom, your finance is done like that. It's that simple. Of course, it will be earnings of quality to make sure everything is legit, right? The accountants will go in and do the actual investigation. But that's due diligence and property too, right? But the deal is solidified and it's easier. The math is easier, right? The growth from there, the upside is easier. So I was just telling him, you're a trucker, go buy a trucking business, right? It's that simple. Stop driving for the damn truck and go leverage all the drivers. And there's profitable businesses already out there. But it's mostly people's mindset and desire. He had more desire to bang shorties or try to find love. more than he had the desire to be financially free or financially literate. So that's why I said it's all in drive and desire, because all the opportunities, especially in America, are there. You're just probably listening to somebody that's telling you something different and you believe it. That's just the biggest problem. Outside of that, it's no financial problem. It's no opportunity problem. Y'all lucky I ain't in the game no more. I'll be looking at deals on the computer. I'll be like, let me go broke again, please. Because I'm going to come back richer and stronger than ever. Because now I know better plays than I knew back then when I built myself into where I'm in now.
And that's the whole thing, O2O and everybody else on the panel. When you know how money works, you know how it functions, you know how to pull the strings. It's like turning on a water faucet. You can turn it all the way up, or you can turn it down to where it's a fucking drip. It's up to you and how much you want to bring in and how much you want to put more stress back in your life trying to make it. Depending on how you do it. Okay, but it's a trade-off. Money for time, money for effort, money for this, money for that. And then when you're at that time and place in your life where you're not trying to do all those things, you turn all those stressful parts about money down and you turn up the things that you can kind of coast into and make money a little bit easier, a little bit smoother with a lot less stress in your life. You get to pick and choose once you know how things function. So when somebody says, what's your net asset? What does it matter? I'm comfortable the way I live. If I need to make more money, guess what? I know how to turn on one little faucet here and a little faucet over there.
Facts.
And I'll have the income stream that I need to have in order to get the things I want. But I also don't want to live so heavy that I got to worry about taxation on my money either.
Yeah, me and Keem was just talking about that before you got on live, where I was saying a man who knows how to build houses ain't worrying about going homeless. A man who knows how to grow his own food ain't worrying about going hungry. And he was even saying earlier, okay, he was watching Survivor, and the person, they would go fish, and then they would catch a fish, and then they would get the fish and they would eat it, and he's like, nah, you need to keep going there because you can't stop doing it. But Ronan was saying no, a lot of times you have enough to be able to, satisfy yourself for the day. The ocean is always going to be there. So shoot, I mean, it's really a mind of scarcity. You know what I'm saying? Because you're worried that I'm not going to have enough fish tomorrow. Okay, well, if you don't got enough fish tomorrow, you still got your fishing rod. You still got food to be able to go.
Listen, you're also contributing to greed. If you're talking about Survivor show, if you caught a fish and you didn't eat it right away, everybody else was like, can I get some of that? So you're supporting your competition at that point. Why the fuck would I do that? You're competing against me at the end of the day.
And usually on those shows, if you watch it too, I remember I just watched Bear's Grimace again because people were talking about it, and I was like, let me see what actually happened. But one of the guys, he was good at fishing, right? But nobody knew that, so nobody gave a damn about him. But once he was able to keep catching fish and they knew he was a plug, they was like promoting him. He was #1 champ. They was on his dealios, right? And then, but he got mad too because once he started actually catching fish, everybody was like, hey, he catches fish, so we don't need to think about getting food anymore. So everybody started putting their feet up. And he started getting mad, like, okay, y'all want to be on that? Because he's like, I'm still out here sitting fishing while y'all laying around waiting for me to bring the fish. Even in survival, people get complacent like that.
Yep.
So that's you true. Thinking you being the gunner is going to help? Not necessarily. Everybody else can still put their feet up and be like, well, I ain't got to do shit. Black cleaner make the money, so hey.
And then at the end of the day, they'll outvote you anyway because now you're a competition to them and they're going to want to get you out. Why are you supporting your competition? Fuck them.
Nah,
and basically what you said is true stories. But go ahead, King.
What I always know how to do, bro, is I always know how to get in where I fit in. If I see, you winning over there, not to say like I picked the angle, but because of that, I always found a way to get in where I fit in. And I played the corporate game before, believe me. That's
I
like
learned all the different the little tricks of the trade, and I incorporated those in my business, and I moved the fuck on.
right.
But you gotta know how to kind of blend in, especially our Generation X, not O2O per se, but there wasn't no DEI hire. There wasn't no, you actually had to be 5 times, 10 times better than the next guy, or you didn't get the fucking job in my day. So I had to learn how to blend in.
Right.
To get it.
21 watching right now, hit the like button.
Then once I got in it, I had to worry about people stabbing me in the back, trying to get me out. I'm their competition. We work for the same company, but it's a numbers game. Top salesperson gets bonuses, You know what I'm saying? So even when you're in, you're not in. Somebody's trying to get you out. And I was competing against old Russian ass dudes and Italians. So if you didn't have thick skin in that fucking room, they would have scared you right the fuck up out of that bitch.
You're as good. You're only as good as your last sale. And see, that was another reason, because of what you just said right there, where I would, when I was in, the industries, but I was in the industries of service. So really, I'm the person that's going out there and providing the service, while there were other people that were over there doing the sales. So really, they were selling me to go out there and do the stuff. So once I started realizing, okay, I'm the talent, the only thing that I need to do is learn how to sell. And then once I was able to learn how to close deals, it's like, okay, well, what do I need them for? Let me go over here and go fish for my damn stuff.
Close your own deals. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I did. I started closing my own deals. I didn't get as many deals as they were able to get, but guess what? I was still able to get the same paycheck, a little bit more, because I was getting all of the money. So I just worked. I had more free time.
And not only did just the more money, you were building on new skill sets. So you were able to acquire a better skill set and became a more formidable enemy or competitor. And that's why I say, like, a lot of times people just go to shambles because y'all listening to people who rather hate the play instead of learn the game. And that's just those people. So things ain't working out for them. It ain't panning out right. They broke. They can't even feed their families. And they trying to tell you, hey man, I know you playing basketball and you usually dribble with one hand, but that's wrong. We should just stop dribbling and should be able to travel. And that's what people are trying to game you on right now. They trying to get you to play some other game that don't exist, and there's no real return on investment. And it's like, hey, but we can change it, because they mad with the current way things work and they not winning at that. I was in that phase too, so don't get it twisted. But once I got my mind out of that and I shifted, I was like, damn, all I got to do is apply the tactics, apply to the game called capitalism. It's not laborism. So I just got to work myself into a different angle on this system, and then I can get the access to the resources and facilitate deal flow, facilitate families being able to live in places that are habitable, because I'm the landlord, right? I can provide the proper incentives. I can restructure the community. I don't have to wait for Biden or Trump. I can make plays. I could do a moratorium. I could reduce rents during COVID because I'm the owner of the asset. And so at the end of the day, I don't need a committee. I don't need the council. I can make plays if I want to. Shit, the tax laws are written so I can make the plays for my own wealth. The government says, hey, if you put money here, if you put money there, you ain't got to pay us taxes. So I learned how my money decides to move. I invest in the charities I want to create or want to invest in. And then they say, hey, you don't owe us no taxes now. So what I just saw is I had to stop hating the player and learn the game. Once I learned the game, then I was able to be laced with what I needed to know in order to get resources. I don't even call it money because people be trying to downplay money. Resources. The difference between me getting the treatment I need to being in the suites I want to be in, or just being able to quit on my own terms, or be able to not have to work. Not necessarily, I might like my job, right? But if I break my leg, I can't go to work now. So I take that have to off the board and put myself in a better position to have better negotiation terms and live out a better life for myself and anyone else I decide to extend that favor to. That is the difference. And I say, once you do that, you could create your own Garden of Eden right here on earth. That's what God said. That's what I created for myself. So don't bite the apple. That's what I tell people all the time.
I agree.
Don't listen to the serpent.
I agree. We talked about that earlier too, about, the wanting more is usually the thing that gets you thrown out of the garden. But when you learn how to appreciate what the garden has to offer and make the most out of what you've got, then it keeps you in the garden. Or even if you was out of the garden and you learn to appreciate what you got, it gets you thrown back into the garden.
Talk to him. Come on. Preach, Black Cleaner. Keep it going. I just left it there, but that was a hell of a build. See, that's why I love sharing this type of stuff with people with good mindsets, because they can add on that. I wasn't even thinking about that extra, but yeah, woo. Come on, Atliv. Talk about a remix. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I appreciate it.
That was the Swagger remix. Okay, they got a swagger like us. That was the T.I., Kanye and Jay-Z version. Okay.
Well, I mean, go ahead, King.
Nah, go ahead.
No, the only thing I was going to say is because it was just lived experience. Was it you that said there's a difference between life experience and lived experience?
That was me.
Ronan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, go ahead.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, so that's what happened with me. It was just lived experience. Once I started to understand, instead of me chasing the money aspect of things, but actually starting to appreciate what I was given and learning the skills and to be able to do more with the things that I have, I started to really understand that I was already in paradise. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, I got a house for free. What am I over here trying to, run on this treadmill to go get this big house in the mansion? I don't really need all of that. I just need somebody who likes what I got right here. As long as I got the shorty that likes what we got right here, the house that's paid for, the car that's paid for, and we got a business that generates some income, and all we got to do is just take what we got and work these things to be able to get to the paradise that we really want, we're good.
Yeah.
But what happens is, you meet the Daphne Joys of the world. This isn't enough. I want to be at the Diddy parties. I will take your ass to the Diddy parties then.
Right. You can go by yourself.
Right.
And here's the biggest thing. How are you allowing people to come in your environment and tell you how they want to function their lives? Well, go live your fucking life the way you want to fucking live it. But here in my house, there are rules. If you want to be in my circumference, there are standards. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
You can either get on board and ride that train the way I have it structured, or you can go find that avenue you want to stumble down. See how many times you get used up, abused, and I don't want to see you doubling back, circling around saying, hey, big head. That shit don't work. I know my true worth. I know my value. And you're not going to tell me anything other than that. I used to tell young girls all the time, I was like, you know how long you going to leverage that beautiful face or body or whatever? Sooner or later, that shit's going to dry up as old. So even if you think I'm a young, old man dealing with young women, man, I don't play that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a short time thing. That ain't a long time thing. You either here for fun or you here to get down. How they say it, get down or lay down?
Yeah. That was a Benny Siegel, State Property. But what were you about to say, King?
I'm listening.
King. Okay.
Y'all, I'm listening right now.
Okay. But yeah, because I actually had a situation like that happen, on a smaller note where, I went to South Carolina, because I was trying to build this cargo van that I ended up getting. So I brought my girl along with me. And I'm like, all right, I accomplished what I needed to accomplish. Let's go have some fun. So we ended up going to Charleston, South Carolina. And then she was saying, well, it's, there's too many mosquitoes at the beach in Charleston. So can we go to, what's it called? I'm sorry. I've been there. I can't even think about it. They have Black Bike Week there. Myrtle Beach. There we go. So I drive. It was like another 3 to 4 hours from Charleston, South Carolina to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We get there like 9, 10 o'clock. I'm tired. I've been driving for like 10 hours. I done did a trucker's route pretty much. We get to the hotel, right? Now this is a walk-in. So the hotel is like, well, we got we don't have that many rooms available, but I'll give you this room right here. And it was at a nice resort. We've been to the resort before, but they give us the terrace level resort. Terrace level room. My girl gets in the room, nice room, double beds, whatever. You can walk right out to the beach. It was actually an ocean front or ocean view. This girl says to me, "Oh, it's only a terrace level. Can you think we could get a room higher up, or maybe like the 10th floor, 11th floor?" I was like, "Yo, you can do whatever you want to do. If you want to go down to guest services and say, hey, we don't want this room. If I put an extra $100 or $200 with this, can we get a better room? Can we get an upgrade? Do it. But otherwise, I done drove 10 hours to get here. We in the room. What you want to do? Because I've already done my part. The rest is on you." Naturally, she gonna get mad. "Oh, okay. It's about you got money. You got money, okay. We get it. We got it. All right, fine. You weak motherfucker." Anyway, so I ended up just going to sleep and moving on from that. But the point was, they always want more. And I don't like to get into that whole gender warfare type situation, because it could be the same thing for, dudes who didn't bring nothing to the table as well. They there with they broad, and they gonna try to see how much they can get out of they broad, who done did all of the work in order to provide bring home the steak or the bacon. So it happened, as you said, people are people. But at that time, it was her. At that time, it was her. She pissed me off, and I'm like, something,
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, I'll just be indifferent to it all. I'll be telling brothers, like, that's the best, because everything I've run on my ship is cooperation, not coercion. So it's either you could roll with it or roll somewhere else. And I wish you the best. I truly bless you. I wish you the best. I hope you get the exact life that you want. And there's no sarcasm and undertones of that. I don't even want you circling the block coming for me, because I'm going to be winning in the future. So I definitely don't want you down bad in the future, because then you're going to be like, man, I need to run a play on him. So at the end of the day, I really do want you to win. But I guess our time has passed, right? If you want that reality, then I'm completely fine shutting up and going to Bermuda or goddamn the Maldives if you got the money. I'll shut up and I'll play my role. Right? I'll be a goddamn sugar dude, whatever they call it, right? For the men. I'll listen. But if you ain't got it, then it is what it is. And yes, I got the resources. And yes, I can feed my family. And yes, I could take care of hospital bills. So yes, money matters. So you can't play me in this reverse psychology Jedi mind trick thing. And so actually, you need to actually get up out the way if you're going to continue to launch those soft power campaigns on your player, because I'm trying to build. I'm trying to enjoy my time and what I've built and the fruits of labor. So if you're a nuisance, then that's cool. I'm gonna have to execute. I'm gonna have to get you out my life real quick. And there's no hate. So I think a lot of people just need to have that indifferent perspective. People are gonna be people. They're gonna do stuff like that. But as long as you keep building on your life, I say that's the fundamental winning block. Like, you could never lose. How can you tell me I'm gonna lose? This is my life. This is the one life I'm given, right? So whether I lose the girl who was down with me, or my day one, or a girl who did this, it's cool. I never lost her too. Half of these girls are still alive. She's just not with me anymore. Okay, cool. I wish her the best, right? Y'all guys need to really disconnect that from it and understand, like, you know what? This person helped me. Even if you lose a good girl, if she was good to you, then let her just move on with her life. You should be in the mindset that you're like, yo, my life is still flunk. My life is still popping. My life is still going in good direction. Right. So I just say, keep building, man.
And that's the thing. You guys try to hold on to things till it's just too late. Let it go. There's so many people circling the block, coming back after you later in life. And that's okay. Like, you can either choose to mess around with that or not. But as you build, you're exposing yourself to even more, a larger pool. So then now you have to pick again.
You know, the funny thing that's what you were just saying, because I was just talking to my older brother, because you know that's my OG, and he just called me today telling me he was at this restaurant. It's a famous restaurant in Boston, a Chinese restaurant that everybody goes to, and he hasn't talked to a female that he was dating for 9 years.
Wow.
You know, he stopped talking to her for about a year now. And she shows up in the restaurant and sees him and wanting to spin the block. And she's saying, she loved him and she wanted to come back to him because, but it wasn't because she wanted to, run a play on him, like some people. It was because when she was with him, just like what O2O was talking about, she was winning in her life. She came over to his table and was telling him, I was able to get out of this apartment and now I got my own, 3 family out here, thanks to you, because of your mindset. I was able to get a promotion on my job and I was able to, get an increase in income. And I just, now I understand, by dealing with a lot of these guys that are out here that are really about nothing, that you really want to be with somebody who's going to elevate you and not bring you down. And I'm ready to, come home, can I get back in the saddle? Because I'm trying to be around that positive energy. And that's a lot of times what happens. That's why a lot of people do spin the block, because, it takes them to go away and see, there's a lot of people that ain't doing nothing with their lives, but just draining and seeing what they can get from you versus what they can put into you.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, do you open the door and let her back in? You ain't spending the fuck on me.
Well, as my brother, we was talking about it, and he was saying the same thing. He was all like, "Yo, I'm already involved. I done moved on with my life." But at the same time, she's over here like, it's only been a year. You gonna just close the door on me? So my brother. So I was telling my brother, I was all like, well, you know what the radio station is, WIIFM. We understand what you're getting from me letting you back in, but what's in it for me? WIIFM. What's in it for me, baby? You know what you're getting from me. What am I getting from you? And if you can't tell me what I'm going to be able to get out, because it's about reciprocity. That's what this whole thing is about. So we already see, okay, you being around me benefits you because you're able to elevate yourself. What am I getting from you besides, some in-house cheek clapping when I want to? Nothing else? All right, well.
This is the problem with that. And I'll tell anybody who's listening. If she spun the block on you once, she'll do it again. Because you're willing to take her back, no matter what the fucking excuse is.
Yeah, you're right.
You're just displayed a weakness to her by doing that. Don't ever do that. Because all you're doing is saying, I'll open myself up to you anytime you come around. Ain't nobody that goddamn fine to be abused by him. And it is a form of abuse, by the way. So if you open yourself up to that kind of spinning the block every time just because she's fine or whatever, go ahead. See how many times you're going to do that before you catch on. You gaslighting the fuck out of you just to get her away.
Let me go to the comments.
She'll go that way too.
Shout out to Charlie Chan, president accounting for. Who's this? Mad Villain? Mad Valares. He said he needs the background music. It comes with the kit.
Mad Villainy, yeah.
Yeah, Mad Villainy.
Oh boy.
All right. I don't see any other comments. But I definitely agree with you, Ronan. As I said, what's in it for me? If you're gonna, pay a choosing fee, I'll give you some time, but it probably ain't gonna be the same amount. But nah, if you just coming back in and I'm sorry, Daddy. Please take me home, Daddy. I miss you, Dad. Oh no, oh no. You got to go. There is no spinning the block. But if you over here, you giving a brother some gifts. You done bought me a new rental property. I'm gonna reconsider. If you want to give me 40 grand so I can get me another rental property, hey, we all right. But other than that,
I ain't even going in business with her.
I didn't say go in business. I said you're gonna give me 40 grand so I can go get my own rental property.
She's gonna give it to you without wanting to be a partner with you, bro. Come on, stop it. Don't lie to yourself like that. She got strings attached to that money.
No, of course.
She ain't a dude. Now, a dude will give her 40K to go buy a property and say, nah, baby, you don't even have to put me on the title. Nah, women don't do that, bro. It ain't gonna happen that way. She's gonna want some ownership in it, a partnership, some way of tying herself to you. But eventually she already knows she's gonna get it all back anyway. You just muted yourself, Black Nigga.
I said, yeah, that is crazy that you said that. Because that is something that a guy would do. Because I've done it. I've given females cars, but for me, it only cost me like $1,200. But the value of it, if they would have looked up the book value, it was like, $6,000-$7,000. It was like, oh shoot, he got me this brand new car. And I actually wrote about that in my book. I actually gave this female a car, but she didn't. But then once she found out, okay, it was an older model, she didn't really appreciate it. She took it for granted once again. And then I was like, all right, well, since you don't really appreciate the car, then give me the damn car back. Oh, I don't need your car. So she done, hired a tow truck driver to tow the car back over to my house. And then the next time I go over there, she ends up buying her own car. And so she's all like, see, I told you I really didn't need you. I could get my own stuff. So she ended up buying like a 2016 Nissan Rogue, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. So how much is the payment on it? Oh, well, I pay $315 a month for the payment. I was able to get pre-approved, through Navy Federal, blah, 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 blah. The car that I gave you didn't have a car note. I gave you the title in hand.
Yo, was that the Act Legend?
Huh?
Was that the Act Legend?
No, this was, I bought her a Lexus RX 350.
Oh, okay, big fella.
But as I said, it was a deal that I got because my mechanic, she was moving, so she was getting rid of all of the cars that she had on the lot. So when I went to go pick up my Lexus, she was all like, oh, I got to get rid of all of these cars. So do you want this? And I was all like, how much you selling it for? She was like, $1,200. I just need to get rid of it. I'm like, hell yeah. It was tax free too. So, I picked it up and gave it to her. But once again, she didn't appreciate it, because it was an older model Lexus. I'm like, but it looks the same as this Nissan Rogue. Nobody knows that this Lexus is an old model. It looks like it's a 2016, especially with, a lot of these cars, the model, they usually use the same body style. All they do is they just change the number on it. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, moving forward. The question that I had was at the beginning, if you had all of your bills paid for, what would you be doing with your life? And we already had Keem answer that question. Ronan, what's the answer for you? I'm sure that you are already at that point. So what is it that you do now that all of your bills is paid?
The same thing I'm doing right now is just adding to income streams. Looking at different avenues for income streams, automation, AI, looking at different avenues on that. I even sent something over to O2O. I ain't heard from you yet, brother. Did you take a look at that video I sent you?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. What? Before,
The one
right?
on WhatsApp. Yeah. The one on WhatsApp. The trader AI. You take a look at that.
Yeah,
Because I know you
okay.
were taking that around yourself. So I was like, oh, let me have him take a look at this. Maybe that'll help him with his algorithm or something that he might be wanting to do. But I wanted your opinion on it. Either way, but yeah, I'm always looking at income streams, I've always been a guy that I learned systems. It was very easy for me to understand systems and how they work and implement them for myself. So, all I'm looking at is adding to my income streams to where it builds my legacy, and everything's in trust. Everything's ready to go. If something was to happen and I got kicked off and I'm not here anymore, my kids are well provided for. Only thing I'm looking at. So that's mine.
Okay. 020, same question. I'm sure that you're already there. So what is it that you do now that all of your bills is paid for and you're, not on that treadmill anymore? What is it that you do day to day, or what is it that you want to do more of? We'll say that.
I mean, like, I be feeling like one of those Mike Jordan, one of them ball playing ninjas, where it's like, if I retire, is the game still gonna love me? So for most of it, I'm still in the game, I still manage my portfolio. I'm still actively, searching what's the next investment. I was just looking at Project Prometheus, trying to invest in Jeff Bezos' next little AI company that he's got coming up, trying to get all the information I need. I just enjoy it. Like right now, I'm sitting at a decade at 42% return in the market. And so at the end of the day, yeah, that's really good. So I want it to be that at 20 years or 30 years. So I want to keep going in this direction of that's having a good return, so I could just sit back and stun on people. Nah, I'm just kidding. Just sit back and just be like, I reached my goal of having a high return above average and beating out the index in the long term. And so that's just something I have fun with. I'm building out my new application, Biz Over Ticker, and that allows you to just learn the fundamentals of any business. But it's mostly for me right now. I'm not thinking about selling it or anything. But right now, I just needed a place I could go to that cuts through the noise, that let me just learn more about these businesses that are behind the stocks and the tickers. So that's what I do, but that's just because it's a passion project. I also play golf. I also go where I want to go when I want to go. I get massages mostly on a daily basis. And so I'll also introduce inconveniences into my life, whether it's my training regimen every morning, whether it's certain things I go through in a personal life. I like that experience too, because it still puts me through some struggle or some obstacle that allows me to level up. So I can't be in 100% comfort, because then I'm not leveling up in any way. So I introduce controlled discomfort in my life in order to actually continue to grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it, man. And the bills are covered and whatever.
Girl, take my bills.
What's the
And then,
next
bro, then
question?
I'll chop it up with you about that trader joints, because I did watch
Yeah,
it. So
man.
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's what I
Shout out
thought.
to that
Too. I was like, yo, man, I could throw a couple bucks over there and see what it can do for me.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm
Everyone
hearing
learns
so
things.
many different AIs that are out there doing that. So I'm like, I'm more into learning Claude Code right now and automation in that respect. And if I know that works, and I know AIs like I do right now, so $40 over there grows it over into something that makes a difference. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
If it keeps growing it, I'm good. But that's something we'll talk about on the offline. But Black Cleaner, this is your show, man.
Yeah,
Take it
comfort.
You don't need to.
Yeah,
What up,
comfort
Rico?
versus freedom. Yeah, I think it's paused. Comfort to that freedom, man. That's what I say. It's that freedom all day, every day. Shout outs to the comfort, though. I'm not against it. While I sit in a comfortable robe and stuff, I can't.
But it's a combination of both, for you and for me too. I'm comfortable and I'm free. It's just a matter of what is your level of comfort. And like you said, you even introduce in your day-to-day in uncomfortable situations in order to cause yourself to want to push yourself even more. You can live in a certain level of comfort to where you get too comfortable and you don't want to do anything. You at least introduce things that kind of make you a little uncomfortable. And it looks like Charlie Chan, as soon as Black Cleaner comes back, He'll pull you up. Charlie Chan's in the back.
And I think I always like to challenge things. Let's take it to the next level. Both.
Right.
Right. And then also I see it as people often say like, man, it wasn't easy. I'm like, being broke ain't easy. So if you ask me to choose both roads and both toes, I have to struggle. I have to sacrifice as a brokey and as someone who makes wealth and creates wealth for himself. I'd rather choose the wealth creation path. So both are hard struggles. Like, I be having food, like I came to Switzerland, they love Swiss chocolate. So the lady's like, you want some Swiss chocolate? I'm like, nah, I'm good. She's like, what? I'm like, gotta keep the 6-pack. And she's like,
what you mean, baby? I'm all Swiss chocolate that you need.
Yeah, exactly. This is Americano chocolate. You feel me? So she was like, dang, what you going?
My boy Fearless had to argue with me about American chocolate. You know how the American GIs, we did the whole chocolate thing. We would always give it to the kids, whatever country we went into, and they would be asking for it from the American soldiers. Oh, you got any candy? Right? Fearless has to argue with me all the time about something. He goes, well, the preferred global chocolate is Swiss. I said, yeah, but Americans made it popular that you give chocolate bars, and it was our chocolate, not Swiss. Give a fuck about the damn Swiss chocolate. It was American that gave it to them, and that's what made the difference. An American gave them that chocolate, not no damn Swiss. That ain't over there helping them do shit.
Okay. I'm back on. And also we had to add to the stage Mr. Charlie Chan of Charlie Chan TV.
Hear.
What's going on? How you doing today,
man? Brothers on here cooking and figure I should get in the kitchen as well.
All right.
I can't get a plate.
Excellent. Glad that you came.
For freedom or both? What you doing?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You in the comfortable? You in for freedom? Or you in for both? You on that hamster wheel trying to get off? What you doing over there, Charlie?
Well, my situation, as I explained a plethora of times before, it's a little bit complicated, which I'm sure everybody's situation is, but mine's a little bit more unique than others. But my thing is, I was just talking to one of the good brothers not too long ago, actually. And my thing is, for me, it is the comfort, but the freedom is more than anything. And I'm pretty sure it's Most Def that said this. He who traded his freedom for peace don't deserve either. So me personally, I feel like I could deserve both, if that makes sense.
Okay. It's funny that you just said that because we were just watching a video when you before you got on live. It was a short where Ben Franklin was arguing over that, and actually that was something that Ben Franklin said in the debate. So this has been an age-old argument about freedom and comfort, or freedom and security. Basically, those who trade in their security will lose their freedom by the people who are providing that security for you. Yep. That's basically what Ben Franklin said.
And I also go ahead, Charlie.
No, I was just saying I agree. Go ahead, OTO.
No, I also wanted to be like, I want to reframe, but again, this is how I see it. So I'm just reframing it and letting y'all know how I kind of see things. I'd be like, somebody be like, yo, you in the rat race. I never called it that, bro. Like, I'm in the gym, homie. I love this shit. Like, I loved every journey of my life. I never looked at one part and was like, man, I was in the Matrix and I was in the money pit, bro. I was in the Empire. What you mean? I was in the Rome. I was in the Forum. I was in the Coliseum. I was in the library running up a bag. I love that shit. So at the end of the day, I just categorized it in a certain segment in a certain way, and then I took advantage of it. So if somebody was like, yo, you had to go back to corporate America, oh my God. You know what I would do if I was getting paid a paycheck now? Bro, I'd be eating on ramen noodles and throwing my whole check into companies on the stock market. But back then when I was coming up, I ain't know it that much. I didn't have as much game as I have now. I didn't have as much skill set and information. So I love it. I don't call it the Matrix. I don't call it none of this shit. I call it the Empire. That's where I get my money. That's where my resources reside at. That allows me to live like a king anywhere on this earth. So I'm cool with it. I love it. You get me? And then the job put me on. I used to send gift baskets to HR every year. I used to hit up HR and send them gift baskets. And they'd be like, Bird, you ain't got to do this. I'm like, yo, you gave me a job. You ain't have to give me a job. How many applications you see? You gave me a shot to feed my family, feed myself. So I'm grateful for every opportunity. I'm not like most motherfuckers that think you owe me something because I'm working at you gave me a job. Like, that's a certain mindset people walk around with. I knew a dude who was mad at a guy, was like, oh yeah, this guy's supposed to give me a job, but he told me I had to call him by Thursday. And I was like, yeah, what's the problem? He was like, why I gotta call him? You supposed to be finding me a job. I'm like, yo, how entitled does a motherfucker gotta be?
See, that's entitled.
Ungrateful.
That word.
When you gonna hook me up with a job, Jody?
Yeah,
Remember that part of Baby Boy? When
you still ain't put me over no job, put no money in your man's pocket.
That's crazy
like,
work.
Come on, man. And then how many millionaires you got on, bruh? I count at least 3. So it's like, damn, bro, you getting mad at the guy for not calling you to give you a job, and he running a business. Like, come on, man. But that's people's mindset. That's why when people tell me, oh man, everybody ain't got money, some people struggling, I don't give no sympathy. I don't know. I got to get to know them and know why, because they might deserve that goddamn, suffering that they live in, because they are some insufferable people. You gave them access to money, it'll probably amplify their poor character. So I don't know. I have to know them. I'm not saying the rich are good just because they're rich, right? But at least they added value to the market in some shape, form, or fashion. And so at the end of the day, I always say I reserve my right to just sit back and retwist and redesign. Like Nipsey Hussle said, I'm self-made. What does that mean? I design myself. I design everything I believe in and what I think. And the way most people got things set up in their mind, that's why they lose it. They see it as a rat trap. They see their life as a struggle. It sucks. So if you see your life as a sucky rat trap, then your life, you're going to live as a rat.
I like that.
Ours.
You are as you thinketh.
Yep.
As a man thinketh. Yeah.
Hey, you know how people say, oh, I'm going to manifest it. Yeah, keep on manifesting that negativity. See what happens to you.
Facts. And then when I say all this positive shit, they be like, man, you just optimistic. You ain't got no critical analysis. All right, let's say I don't. Where has your critical analysis gotten you? You don't, oh yeah, I'm just a critic. I look at data and statistics. I look at the facts. Okay, look at your life. That's where your facts and your analytical brain has gotten you. And look at where I'm at with my overly optimistic mindset. Okay, cool. Like Elon said, I'd rather be an optimistic and wrong than be a pessimistic and right. That's me.
I like that. But see, it's funny that you say that, because that's where a lot of people get me when it comes with the whole love notion portion of it. Because it's like, yo, I believe in love and I believe in family and legacy. Oh yeah, you over here simping for these hoes out here. I'm just being optimistic. I think that I can find, a good woman who's gonna want to share this journey with me. That's all. And I'm just gonna get out.
Do you think those things are the same though, black women?
Say that again.
I said, do you think those two things are the same?
We're just talking about optimism. My man said it. Freeway Rick Ross. He was just talking about, hey, all I had to do was just switch the product, and I wouldn't have had to go to jail. So basically, yeah, y'all are saying be optimistic. It's better to be optimistic than wrong than pessimistic than right. So I'm saying, okay, well, I'm just going to apply that to love instead of finances.
Yeah, I get that. I would apply it to self-love. Like I always say, I love myself more than any other broad. So it really don't matter. Like, I'm not saying I don't like it, and if it come, I'm gonna reject it. Nah, I'm just saying it's not my center focus. I don't believe, look, how can I sit around and say to myself that there's somebody out here who's supposed to live this with me and we're supposed to live in peace? And Adam didn't even get that. And God designed that woman specifically for him for that purpose. Now, people got other options. So at the end of the day, as God said, free will. So I'm not really tripping. I love myself so much. So if a broad don't like me, if she want to go, or if I have her for a time, 5 years, 10 years, it doesn't matter to me. I got my life. That's foundation of everything. So I just say, man, a lot of y'all men just got to love yourselves. I know it sounds like kind of crazy, but y'all got a lot of self-hate. Y'all be looking for love externally and not focused on you. Y'all, the shit y'all be saying be wild. Y'all be wanting to be with a broad that don't want to be with you. Like, that don't even make any sense. I only want to be with a broad that want to be with me. I only want to be with a girl.
She deserves you. Get the hell out of here.
Fuck all that. I don't chase nobody. I don't do none of that. I want to be with a girl that chase me. She want my dirty drawers. She want to smell them. She want to be inside my skin. I rock with who like me. I don't rock with who I gotta convince to like me. Then shout outs to Goldie Game, but he said this, like, y'all be trying to be like, go get the girl, go chase her. And then once you get her, quote unquote, you get her, right? And she's like, okay, I like you, I want to be with you. You like, yeah, lead. I'm the leader now. Now you follow me. That don't make no sense. You had to chase her to get her. So you ain't the leader now. She the leader. Yeah, like, it don't make no sense. You can't just turn around and be like, all right, now that I got you, you follow me. I'm the leader. I'm the man. Like, nah, she got to choose you. You know, like, choosing signals, right? Choose who like you, not the one you like. And so at the end of the day, that's just my operandi modi, because I love myself. So now me and the girl got something in common. From the jump, she like, I like you. I'm like, damn, I like me too. We a good couple.
That's a fact. Yeah, nah, I feel you. That's some real spit there, OTO.
Hey, that's some real life. You feel me? And if you get it, then you get it. You know what I'm saying? The game is to be taught, not sold. So if you really get that shit, then you can understand it. But if you don't, then hey, best of luck.
All right, I got this video on board. I want you all to give me a reaction to this video. Tell me what you think. Hold on 1 second. He was talking about it. I gave the description, but here it is in full view.
Beautiful beach in a small coastal village. He noticed a fish in a small coastal village.
Hold on. There we go.
One sunny morning, a businessman stood on a beautiful beach in a small coastal village. He noticed a fisherman sitting under a palm tree, relaxing after catching a few fish. The businessman asked, "Why aren't you out catching more fish?" The fisherman smiled. "I caught enough for my family today." "But what do you do with the rest of your time?" the businessman pressed. "I sleep late, play with my children, take a nap with my wife, and in the evenings, I sip wine with my friends and play guitar," said the fisherman. The businessman laughed. "If you fish longer, you can catch more. Then you can buy a bigger boat, catch even more fish, start a fleet, open a factory, and move to the city. You could become rich." "And then?" asked the fisherman. "Then," said the businessman, "you can retire, move to a small village, sleep late, play with your kids, nap with your wife, sip wine, and play guitar." The fisherman chuckled. "Isn't that what I'm doing now?" The businessman paused. For the first time, he realized the irony. The life he was chasing was the life this fisherman already had. Happiness isn't in more, it's in enough. What are you really chasing? If this story...
Perfect analogy. Perfect.
So what do y'all think about that? Let me get a reaction.
Garbage.
Okay.
Hot garbage.
OTO.
That sound like Africans. Just sit around and just let the fruits fall from the tree. And I get you, guess what? When my company move in and we start fishing, that fisherman gonna be out there with his sign like, "No corporations, they taking the fish. It's not right." So I'm gonna get that bag, run up, get the fish, and then I'm gonna retire and I'm gonna live the same way he living, but I'm just not gonna be deterred by macroeconomics. My wealth will still be able to go forward. Him, he's living day by day out of coconut. Like, this is what I'm saying. Most people go to this flight of fantasy like the past was easier. Like, it's not easy. You seen Blood Diamonds, homie? You seen Dondi? He was a fisherman, just fishing and raising his children. And as soon as that war broke out, he wasn't in a position to save himself. He wasn't in a position to save his wife. He wasn't in a position to save his children. They became what? In bondage. His son became in bondage and was a war criminal and was forced to do that. But he was living, he was sipping wine with his wives, he was doing this. And half of the hoes don't even want that life with y'all. Y'all need to cut it out, man. Stop chasing this nonsense, bro. That's okay to build it up and stuff, but what I'm just saying is you have to accept that you're gonna be, living at a weakness in position where you're just living on life, just like, oh, well, I got enough fish for today. Living day to day like that. We men, we supposed to be thinking out 100-year session plan. What is this guy doing for his family? He's just thinking day to day. I'm just getting fish and drinking wine and shooting the shit and smoking Marlboros with my. Come on, bro. Your family is dependent on this. So what happened when the fish don't migrate? What happened when the big competitor move in and take the fish? What you gonna do now?
Move to another fishing spot.
Yeah, move to another fishing spot. He gonna have to find another fishing spot, and I'm gonna be there too. And guess what? He could come work on my boat.
Here's the thing. Let me say this, O2O, and I agree with you on a lot of things.
Yeah, go ahead.
But the fishing is taught. Basically, what he's saying is, I have a comfortable life the way it is right now. All this other drama, all that is yes, I can earn more money. Yes, I can be competitive. Yes, I can go a major corporation. But it's all to get to where he already was, right? But he just has more wealth behind where he is. There's a thing called not only wealth, but quality of life. There's another like a little meme or something going around about a rich dad taking his son out to the countryside to show how the farmers live, right? And how those families exist. While the father thought the son was going to see everything negative about how poor they lived and all the animals they had to care for and how they used their time, the son saw a family spending time together, working together. They had all these animals they could play with. The son saw the adverse to what the father was trying to teach him. They actually had more time for each other. And they did things together where, because you're wealthy, I don't never see you because you're at work. I don't have any animals. I'm by myself most of the time because you out there trying to get it. So the son, when he was looking at it, saw it as the quality of life was much better with the family that ran the farm versus the wealth that he had. And you could say that he was unappreciative of his father's wealth, but maybe he had a different aspect of value on his life. His value was how much time he got to spend with his father versus his father out there getting it. So in different times in different life, you have different aspects of what your quality of life should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's some dumb shit women be selling to men. Listen, bro. Skip all that gay ass stuff, man. Like, and go ahead, be like that so I could crush you. Nah, go ahead, be like that so I could crush y'all in the marketplace. Like, bro, I got the same freedom as the fisherman, but I just don't live off of fish to fish. That's it. And you out here smoking and drinking. Like, come on, man. I'm out here making plays. And I'm not saying you always got to be active and, saying my shit is, working at a company and then getting complete freedom, right? Like, you able to make $500,000 off of 10 hours of a man hours from last year. So I'm really big on time freedom. I'm time rich. So the fisherman can't say that shit to me. But one thing I can say to the fisherman is I'm diversified. I don't live by one fish at a time. And so this is the compromising position that I don't want to put myself in, that other people for years have been in. Like, most people had to struggle based off of day-to-day survival. Right. Yeah. And stop acting like you sitting around with your family doing that much fundamentally great stuff. Like, stop the cap. Y'all motherfuckers sitting around on iPads.
Son is a disappointment and your daughter is loose.
And loose out here. And they acting like they sitting around. Man, shut up, bro. Man, I'm sitting with my family. Y'all not doing that. Y'all not helping no communities. Y'all not building on no homes. Y'all not volunteering. Y'all just sitting around effing off. Just cut it out. Come on, let's stop. All right. Most families ain't all that. And the women have convinced y'all men, y'all too busy. Y'all not at home with the kids. The kid ain't doing nothing but on the phone or sitting around studying or trying to learn stuff on their own too, right? So at the end of the day, I just say, look, there's nothing wrong with having that, building a business and exiting. The fisherman's talking like the guy's not trying to exit. And he's like, well, there's no difference. Yeah, the difference is if this fishing well dries up, I'm still good. I don't live off this fish day to day. My money works for me. You get what I'm saying? I don't work for a fish. I would at least say tell the fisherman he ain't got to fish no more. Why ain't you setting up what's it called, an aqua farm? There you go. You ain't got to catch fish every day. Just use your brain. Use technology. Yep. I'm just telling you to work smart, not harder. That's the difference. That's it. Now your family is just struggling on you providing the fish every day. You back to the survival. You Bear Grimace in this mug. You the only fisherman.
I agree with you, OT.
Charlie Chan, it's you. It's on you. What do you say?
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you go, Charlie. Hey, that was a white man who wrote that, right?
Yeah.
That did the video, right? Probably, yeah?
Probably. But that's an old story. That's like I said, I heard that story many a times. And 2 points I want to make pertaining
That sounds like somebody from a 2-parent household family that said that too. And he had a good upbringing, but go ahead.
Right. Pertaining to what OTO said earlier, just like how he was describing moves, it sounds more like one of the philosophies that I try to adopt. Life is only 10% of what happened to you and 90% of how you react. You know what I mean? So there's that. Like, you could look at it as the greatest thing that ever happened to you, or you could look at it as the worst thing that ever happened to you. Now, I'm saying all that to say, it's all in how you look at it, because when I first heard that story outside of this, what you just played, it was as if the fisherman had already did everything that the salesman had tried to get him up to do, and he's lapped him. This is what I get from the fruits of my labor. I've already done all of that. I've had the fleets. I've had the fish and stuff like that. I got boats working for me, and this is the fruits of my labor. So maybe that's what I got from it, doing other stories that I would watch. But with that aspect, seeing it looked like it was a kindergartner telling a 6th grader how to move around.
Hey, Charlie, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when one of his kids get their ankle broken or they need to go to the hospital? What are you gonna do? Bring a fish?
Right.
Come on, man. Y'all motherfuckers ain't even thinking.
You ain't heard of the barter and trade system? Come on, man, stop it.
Y'all tripping. Y'all heard it. Y'all. Oh man, that story sound nice. He do have what he had. No, he don't. Cause come on,
no, what I'm
you can't be living off no fish every day. I know fishers in Thailand. They struggle, bro. I know fishers in Thailand. They struggle.
Yeah, for sure. And I know catfish farmers down south that do well for themselves. But what I was saying is, when I first heard the story, it's like the man that he was talking to had already ran that course that the new salesman was trying to relay to him. Like, I've done all of that, and I've ran that course already, so now I'm back here living off the fruits of my labor. That's what I got from it, from another story that I watched that was similar to that.
Okay. So is that what your answer is?
Yeah, and if that's the case, that's what I'm saying. You're looking at it 2 different ways. If I'm looking at it the way that I just described, it's a young man beginning his journey, telling the older gentleman that have already ran the course that he needs to run, how to run that course, and he haven't ran it yet. Because if he did, believe me, he wouldn't be on the bank of any ocean or anywhere fishing, telling him how to be a big corporate man if he was that corporate man himself. I'll land there.
Okay. King, did you want to chime in, or are you good?
Team sleep.
Okay. Well, I wanted to get to this.
He'll duck off right quick, so he'll be back.
That's what I said. He over there.
Ronan, did you say something? A black cleaner? Did you go?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the type of person where because I've done some of the stuff that they was talking about, where I just give an example. Okay. I get out of the military. My mother passed away. I inherited her house to rent. But of course, I'm like, all right, well, shoot. Like what you just said, O2O. Let me get out here and get it on my own. I don't want to live off of my inheritance. Let me go and do it. So I go to work, get a job, start running on the treadmill in order to pay the rent that I was having. Get a girlfriend where, she ends up having a baby. I end up, moving down in Atlanta, rent an apartment, get another job, start a business, buy a house, living this life. And I'm constantly on this treadmill, trying to, make this thing happen. And then something just dawned on me, and I was telling the story where somebody was telling me, well, number one, you already had a free house. Had you just, instead of renting your free house out, or, living within your means, instead of trying to get out here and get, and get the American dream that everybody talks about, you could have just done this over here. You really didn't need that. And you would have actually been a whole lot further. Meaning, had you lived in your mama's house and then went to work, you would have been able to save some more money and probably in 5 years, you would have been able to buy your own house. You would have been able to do a whole lot of things. But because you was, not wanting to live off of what your mother has blessed you with and get it on your own, you was chasing, you was pretty much chasing your own tail when it was already there in front of you.
But
that's basically what I got out of it.
You did live off
like,
of it.
Yo, the whole fisherman story, it's like, yo, I already have a roof over my head. I already have food coming in. So now if I want to go out here and do like what you just said, become the CEO and build the empire, I could go do that because I have no stress on my brain. I have none of those things that I'm obligated to. But I'm going to do what I want to do because I love it, not because I have to do it.
Oh,
and
hell
just
no.
like what you said. Let me give you your same analogy. Okay, let's say, all right, well, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna take over this block. I'm gonna build the empire. I'm gonna be the CEO. All right, well, cool. Me and my family are gonna pack up my hut. And we're going to go find another area where that is safe. And I'm going to go continue my life doing what I was doing before. That's pretty much what's going to happen because I still know how to fish. I still know how to build a hut or a house. And I still got friends and family who still want to be able to do the same things that I do. So we just going to all come together and go do it over here and get out of your way. Because eventually, just like what we say, the bully in the sandbox, you're going to be over here kicking over sandcastles. But eventually you're going to kick over the wrong sandcastle and then you're going to get taught a lesson. So but in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to get out your way and go continue living my happy life.
Yeah, my life is happy too. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Y'all men have been supplanted by some gynocentric womenese like nobody believes. Like, what the hell? I was, first of all, you were given the property and then you rented it out. And so somebody was paying down the note at that point because you were renting out.
It was all paid for.
Okay, so you were making money.
Exactly.
But so you were living off of it.
But the money was going to my rent. That's what I was saying.
Okay,
had I been smarter.
Okay, I get it. But okay, so that's just you were living for free then.
Yeah.
Duh, math is math. So if it was paying for your rent and you were living somewhere else, you're still good. You're still living off of it. It's not like you don't have it. You're living off of it. And when you say I had to go build up, what I'm trying to say is y'all always looking at the money. That's why y'all broke. Look at the skill set that you also build on. So when you go out, you're also acquiring skill. You're a grown man. You have to go out there and acquire skills. So looking at working and doing all these things as a net negative is a bad mindset, especially when you're saying, well, I don't love it. It's not my passion. Hey, y'all gonna have to grow the fuck up, man. I gotta do a lot of things in this world that I don't have a passion for and I don't love. That's okay. I'm cool with it. That makes me disciplined. That makes me a formidable enemy. That makes me have better skills. I have to evolve and adapt. You guys want to come out the coochie, have a house given to you, and be able to frolic on the land and eat free fish. That's what you think life should be. Until a tsunami comes, into a hurricane. Damn people, I ain't even gonna put no people in it. Until a locust comes and F your whole situation up. And you're not prepared, you're not ready because you was frolicking in the sun, getting fish, drinking wine, playing with your babies and not thinking about the long term. This is why there's a difference between power of a place like Africa and then the Europeans. Like, you got to build on stuff. Even shout outs to the Chinese. You have to build in the long term. You have to strategize. Don't do it.
I agree.
Don't do it.
I
That's
agree
completely
with that.
fine. But when life come and beat you up, don't come with excuses like, man, this ain't right. I was just trying to live my life. Nah, you didn't want to level up. You didn't want to get new skill sets. You just wanted to live off the land. So when the land gets a little volatile and you get a lot of conflict and you end up crumbling, that's just the situation you're in. You got to accept that too.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
cool.
I
Long as
agree
the person saying, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with getting mollywopped by the locust. Right? But don't ask for no big government to come help you. No rich people like me who did the work. No, you're going to have to fix yourself because you said you wanted this life that was unplugged. So cool. Deal with the volatility.
Well, that's what they were saying about, you know, the difference between freedom and comfort. But I'm gonna get to that in a second. Hold on. Let me get to this video and let me see what you all think about this video. Hold on.
Put that
got
down.
more
That's too much
video.
comfort.
The Wolf and the House Dog. A lean wolf struggling to find food met a well-fed house dog. The dog boasted about his easy life, suggesting the wolf could enjoy the same comforts by serving humans. Intrigued, the wolf inquired about the dog's life. The dog described a life of luxury in exchange for minor tasks. As the wolf began dreaming of such a life, he noticed a worn mark on the dog's neck. The dog admitted it was from a collar. "What? A chain?" cried the wolf. "Don't you go wherever you please?" "Not always, but what's the difference?" replied the dog. "All the difference in the world. I don't care a rap for your feasts, and I wouldn't take all the tender young lambs in the world at that price." And away ran the wolf to the woods. Morale: there is nothing worth so much as liberty.
In a peaceful monastery, a monk had a small bird in a cage. It would sing every morning and watch the world from behind the bars. One day, a young student asked, "Master, why do you keep the bird in a cage?" The monk smiled and said nothing. He quietly opened the cage door and waited. The bird looked around, flew out, and circled in the air. But after a few moments, it flew right back into the cage and sat calmly on the perch. The student was confused. "Why did the bird come back? You set it free." The monk replied, "It's because freedom can feel scary when you've lived your whole life inside a cage. The cage may be small, but it's familiar. Outside is big and unknown. That can be frightening." The student thought for a while and nodded slowly. Lesson: sometimes we stay in our comfort zones not because we're truly happy, but because we're afraid of the unknown.
That's some bullshit.
Real
Huh?
That's some bullshit. You
No, it
comfortable with
ain't. I
that
fuck
cage?
with that one. That's
You
the
comfortable
best
in
one.
that
I fuck
cage?
with that one.
Nah, you comfortable with that cage because you've been conditioned to love that cage. Just like you were conditioned as slave to love that slave master. You were conditioned to love that cage and being in it. That's why you were comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what he said. He said about, you know, being
No, he said
comfortable
it
in a
because
cage.
you are in fear of being free. Ain't nobody fearful of being free. You have to be conditioned not to want freedom by being left in that cage.
Well, it's pretty much the same thing as what was going on with the dog and the wolf.
It's a
Similar
play on
situation.
perception, man. It's a play on perception, brother. Hell
No, the wolf is free. But he has to
No, I'm
sacrifice
talking about that
being
bird.
able to
That
hunt
whole
for
bird
himself
analogy is some
versus-
bullshit.
Say it again.
That bird analogy is some bullshit. That's conditioning, bruh. There ain't nothing about being fearful of being free. That shit was conditioned to love that cage. That's why it comes back.
I get you. I understand you. But what we're
Like,
saying
Black
is
Kid was
they
like,
both
I
are
get
the
you.
same thing. The person who the wolf, the dog with the collar on, he is loving his comfortability. Matter of fact, I actually have a video on that. You know, because he's being fed, he's being taken care of, but he got the collar around his neck to prevent him from going anywhere. So as you said, it's the same thing as the bird in the bird cage. The bird is in the cage he's being fed, he's being taken care of, and then as soon as he opened the doors and say, "Hey, I set you free," the bird is like, "Oh shoot! If I go out here to go fend for myself, now I gotta go, feed myself. I gotta, find my own water. I gotta do all of these things on my own."
Nigga up on that nag? Who's that nigga on the nag? Okay, Stephen.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm down, Stephen.
What do you say about it, Charlie? Charlie there? Hold on.
Yeah, I am. I'm just parking. Give me 1 second. Now, that's the beautiful thing about these panels, in my opinion, is because I would have never thought to think about it from Ronnie's way, and I think he definitely got a great point. But at the same time, from what Ronan was saying, what's the condition of this bird? Was he born in a cage? Was he like captured from freedom and then put in a cage? Like, we need more context from Ronan's standpoint, right?
Either or. I mean, as he said,
it's not either or. It's not either or, and I'll tell you why. Because a slave that was born into slavery is different than a slave that lived a life and introduced to slavery. Those are two different slaves. They have two different mindsets. They have two different wills. They have two different worlds. It's not the same.
Somebody that never experienced freedom won't miss freedom. Somebody that been free and put in a cage, they're gonna miss that freedom.
Exactly.
Interesting concept. So you don't think that there's a person, because you hear often about the what's it called, the elephant on the chain versus the elephant on the leash?
Is there a difference between the two?
Yeah,
tighter. You still tied the fuck up.
Well, a chain and a leash is fundamentally different. And I'll tell you how. Because what that chain is just a remembrance from that elephant being a baby and hasn't been able to go nowhere. That's why they say elephants have some of the greatest memory, because they still think that they're bound by that chain, which we all know elephants are some of the most powerful creatures walking on Earth. So they wanted to, but if you was to have a collar on there, that by that definition is like you have something around their neck that control them and how far they could go.
Nope, it's conditioning again.
That's what I was trying to explain. The whole thing, whether the person was born into the condition and he didn't know anything else, or he was broken into the condition. Conditioning is still conditioning. That's what
I would also, like, I get what everybody's saying, and I think it's a multivariate, like, there's a lot of variables in it. But
absolutely,
I think what Ronan's trying to just articulate is a deeper thing, which is the conditioning, right? Even if the bird was free before, it could still be conditioned later, right? So it doesn't have to be at birth.
That's
it could
what
be
I was
later.
trying
It's
to
conditioned. And so, but on top of that, the condition is the underrooting thing. It's the bottom, it's the foundation. But on top of that, when the monk said, like, it fears freedom also, that's a side effect, right? It fears freedom now because of the condition. So kind of like when the slave goes to the rest of the slaves, like, let's break free. They like, why? What's better than this? This is freedom. We got free food. We got free this. Master thinks about everything. Going out there in the wild. The condition is the underlying actual syntax that was, controlling him. But at the end of the day, downstream, he's fearful of freedom. He can be conditioned to be fearful of freedom. So yes, the condition is everything. And it really don't matter when it starts. It could be later. It could be at the beginning. Conditioning just works, period. Because that's how the human mind works. So shout out to the conditioning.
Right. And I don't know if it was a tick, an ant, or something that it's a jumping thing, a grasshopper, whatever. It's kept in a jar. So it's conditioned not to want to jump as high as it possibly can.
That's a grasshopper. I heard that one. Yep.
Right. And then it has babies. So the babies are now conditioned not to jump so high. You let them out, they still are conditioned not to jump that high anymore because they were limited in the space that they were born in.
Or later at a certain point.
Right. So then you start conditioning a whole generation that way.
So like most black
chain, like you guys were saying, the chain starts off the strong conditioning. As the animal or whatever gets used to that thick chain, then you can just tie it up with a rope. Eventually, as you condition it more, you can take that rope off. That sucker ain't going nowhere because it's already got in its head. It can't go anywhere with that chain, that link, that whatever that tie and that bond is. Even when I used to train dogs, I trained all my dogs. They're well trained. You teach them on a leash. When they do something wrong, you just snatch the leash a little bit to keep them to walk on the side of you. You stop, it keeps walking, you pull that leash. It gets that choke, it starts to learn not to go ahead of you. After a while, you don't even have to do anything. I snap my finger and the dog knows exactly what the fuck I wanted to do. Conditioning.
And then also I would like to add this because I think a lot of people like, all right, we got the conditioning down, but also just because you chose or I would choose to be free, somebody else still, even if they understand that they've been conditioned, they can choose not to. So just like that fisherman, I'm not saying that fisherman's actually wrong. I'm just saying, damn that for me, for my life. But he could just choose that for himself. He has the right to live his life the way he seeks. And so I don't necessarily be like, you a slave, you an idiot if you live that life. No, he's not. If he actually understands and can articulate and understand what he's doing, he could just make a choice to live that life and live in that cage. So it's also about choice too. So I think it's it's hard to determine it all the time. It takes a deep analysis on each case basis, but people can also choose that for themselves. So we say things like everybody will want freedom, not necessarily true. Everybody wants peace, not necessarily true. First of all, the psychopaths don't want peace. How about that? So they're out the equation. Then on top of that, your peace to you might be tyranny for me. So I could define peace differently, and now we have a problem. And now we have conflict. And so that's why I say it's very complex. Humans are very difficult. It's not really black or white, truth or lies. It's just whatever the human chooses. So I just choose not to live like that. Now, I'm not saying somebody's wrong because they do. If the farmer man wants to live like that, that's cool. Actually, I need people like him to exist in the world too. So if everybody thought like me, it'd be a really contentious world. But it's good that other people think different ways and live different ways.
Exactly. All right, I got two more, but let me get this one. Hold on one second. Tell me what y'all think about this one.
Bullshit. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I was going to say trash.
Stop scrolling. Would you choose freedom in the wild or comfort in the city? For the Hadzabe people of Tanzania, freedom means living close to nature. But that freedom comes with a price. They don't live by alarm clocks, traffic, or office schedules. Their days are guided by the sun, the land, and the search for food. There's no rent, no electricity bills, no crowded cities. But there's also no fridge, no hospital nearby, and no guarantee of food tomorrow. What looks peaceful on camera is actually a life that demands strength, patience, and survival skills every single day. The Hadzabe may have freedom that many modern people dream about, but comfort? That's something they often live without. So be honest,
got a line.
Which would you choose? Freedom or comfort?
All right.
I'm calling
how
Cap.
they connected to the, they got an iPhone.
I was just gonna say that. I called Cap. Oh, bro had a crispy ass line too. Nope, I call Cap, bro. Them niggas from California somewhere, bro. That's yeah.
Huh? Well, they
I call
actually,
Cap,
if you come to Panama, they have a whole indigenous tribe that they can bring you to. Called the
well, here's
Inverers.
the
They
thing:
got a
if the
couple of
whole
tribes
tribe
out
got
here.
iPhones, I'm not gonna think they too indigenous. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, bro.
They had Starlink and shit. They had
right. Bro had a crispy lineup you can only get if you sit in a barber chair and he put that little thing around your throat. The little
Hey,
hair
you
catcher
don't know.
joint.
You know they got pointed spears. He might have had them. You know.
Bro had his
down and,
sidelines
put that
carved
spear
out,
to
bro.
his,
Come on, man.
And
And he had the case for the iPhone.
Right. He not only did he have the iPhone, he had a case for the iPhone, a properly fitting case. Come on.
How do you know that wasn't the dude who was getting video content? That could have been a Kai Cenat. I show speed.
That might be so, but how did they know how to use that motherfucker so well? If you put a camera in my hand for the first time, I'm not going to turn into a photographer. I'm just saying.
Nah, man, that white boy trying to do Inception, man. He trying to get y'all to want to live in the jungle or something so he can get money. Nah, man.
Bro, haircut was too crispy, bro. Like, I'm telling you, if you look back at it, it's like bro got his hair done before he came on camera, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And once that Ebola come, I don't want to be a part of the tribe no more.
Bro going home to watch
and you see
tonight,
son's bed. Look at my bed and look at his bed. I'm gonna choose this bed over what they was sleeping in, bruv. I don't care how much freedom they got, allegedly. I'm gonna choose this. I'll work. What you need me to do, master? I'll work. If I gotta live like that.
Hey, and I've never been big, but I heard those jungle animals bite hard as hell, bro.
But what I've realized
and there was no bad bees. There was no shorties there, Black Cleaner. It was all dudes. So I can't get no coot. Nah, I can't get no box no more.
If that's
that might have been the other tribe, you know. You know what was they calling the Dingue tribe? What was the Woman King? What was that tribe?
That was the Diddy tribe.
It was like the Dahomey or something like that.
Yeah, the Dahomey tribe. Yeah, there might be a Dahomey tribe around there.
But my thing is, I'm sorry.
Well, those girls was masculine, Black Cleaner, so damn, that's worse than what you got now.
With all these tribes that they talk about back in the day in Africa, with all these badass women, Amazons, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, I just say they just had weak men that the women had to stand up. Because that's some bullshit to me. Ain't no woman gonna out-talk me to say that she's in charge and she's stronger than me.
Well, let's not act like propaganda is not a part of war, though. That's like if you ever read the 48 Laws of Power when they talk about, no, my apologies, the Art of Seduction, when they talk about Cleopatra, they say she wasn't beautiful by any means. Like, she wasn't, like, super beautiful, like stunning. It's just that she knew, like, how to intrigue men's interest. That's why she ended up with Caesar as well as Mark Antony, because she knew as a woman how to play into her femininity. So there's that.
Okay. But in terms of what I noticed about this is the skills that they had, that they were obligated to have in order to maintain that freedom. You know, being able to wake up every day with the sun, no alarm clock. You know, freedom instilled that discipline in them to be able to survive. And that's the same discipline that you need in order to be able to thrive in today's marketplace. So it seems like, you know, the people who are able to thrive in today's marketplace are the ones who are, you know, on that tribal instinct. What do you say to that?
Was that, were you asking me that question?
Well, I was asking everybody that question.
Oh, could you rephrase it? Because I would love to answer it.
Okay. The skills that they needed in order to survive and to maintain their freedom is the same skills that you need in order to be competitive in today's market. So it's actually a benefit to actually want to have to choose freedom, because freedom requires you to have this discipline to be able to survive. So what do you say to that?
Well, yeah, with certain things, just like, let's just think about it like this. Yeah, they don't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to work, but they also don't have running water. To get certain creature comforts, you got to give up certain things. That's just the way the world works. That's just like somebody was talking about, oh, they're selling fruit. The fruit comes from the earth, it should be free. But yeah, this person that had to grow the fruit, the person that had to go pick the fruit, the person that had to acquire the land for the fruit, that wasn't free.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, you wouldn't have no bills if you want to go live in the woods, but you're not gonna have running water neither. Pick your struggle.
Exactly. But as I was saying earlier, the person who knows how to be a plumber, he ain't worrying about running water because he's gonna build that. The person who knows how to build the house ain't worrying about being homeless because he already knows in time I'm gonna have I'm building this house right now, and in time I'm gonna have this house. It's gonna be all paid for, and I ain't gotta worry about nothing. I'm gonna be over here living free. So that's the key right there. Say it again.
The plumber's gonna have to worry about,
and it works well until somebody that's more powerful with more firepower come take the house that you built.
Okay, well, guess what? He didn't take my skills.
Yes, he did, because I might have made you a slave.
Build me another house sometime.
Right. He made you a slave, and now you building houses for him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I just because I'm free. I'm okay. You done came over here.
I took your freedom.
This block. All right, now I could either, fight you. You know what I'm saying? And okay, you probably might outnumber me or whatever. Or I can say, all right, well, he over here, he got more power than me. I'm taking off running. I'm gone. I'm out of here. There's a big world out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Black
now,
Lynn.
okay, he in Thailand. He the tyrant of Thailand. I'm over in the DR building houses, chilling.
Who you think you is, Mario and Luigi? Yo, you're not getting out free, man. Look, if they do know how to plumb, then he got an electrical problem. Like, listen, I think that, first of all, that's a lie, too. Those guys had iPhones, so they did have an alarm clock. But at the end of the day, all these different types of things that we desire, like, oh, man, I'm just completely free. I know how to plumb, or I know how to electric. That's cool. I'm not saying that's wrong, right? All I'm just saying is diversify, right? Have skill sets, live in the future, also in the present. You could do both at the same time. I think it's a over exaggeration of doing both. An extreme on my end, right? An extreme on that guy who's just a fisherman. There's a good mix between both, and then there's an off ramp because we live in 2026, right? And so I don't preach hustle just to hustle and you a punk. I'm always talking about the off ramp. Whether you're an entrepreneur and selling your business, Ronan was just saying that, or whether you're a 9-to-5 and I'm telling you of owning assets and being able to unplug at a certain point. I'm always talking about unplugging and exiting. So it's different than all those examples. Those guys and all those examples are just extremes. It's either you work for money and you never quit and you always hustling, and then another guy who never thinks about the future. He just live on the lay of the land because everything's provided off the land, and it goes straight to utopia.
But let me take this another step further. Oswald. The man never asked him what else did he do for his money. He just said, let me teach you how to make money off of your fishing. That man could have been a day trader and just goes out to fish afterwards. Like you go. And nobody asked him that particular question. He thought his whole existence was about fishing and bringing home just enough fish for his family to eat.
Well, once again, that's the depiction of that story right there. But the one that I've seen, it was of the guy that the new business guy was talking to. He was essentially retired and had done all of that the new business guy what had proposed. Like, I have already done it.
Yeah, that's similar to what I'm trying to say. How do you know what else he did in order to get to that point where all he does is fish?
Right. That's a fact. Like, he just looked at him and assumed like he's a bum on the rocks, but I can tell you this from being in reels and things of that nature, especially reel is the one of the largest ones in the Midwest. Man, you'll be in one of those meetings and it'll be a dude that's like look like a regular individual that say he got what's the time period to when you sell a property, you got to get into another property before you have to pay taxes on it. I forgot what that's called or whatever, but he said, yeah, I got $6 million I need to spend before this, that, and the third. And you would never known that he was he had access to the
1031.
Money. 1031. There you go.
Or he could do a reverse 1031, but yes, 1031.
That's a little bit too advanced for me, OTO man. I just know what I know and that's it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I'm trying
yeah,
to
yeah. I
learn
got
some
you.
more. But yeah, so I'm just saying that though, like you wouldn't believe that this guy had that access to that money if you judging him off of his appearance and what he drives. Some of the richest people I know, you wouldn't be able to tell by just looking at them.
Well, I think maybe also it goes both ways since the context was so short about it. I don't know if he made that assumption, and he probably would have just gave him some game, like, hey, you could do this and you could do this and you could do that. So not necessarily saying what you're doing is wrong. He was offering, different game. So I think they could have learned from each other, but both of them were stuck on their positions, which is my life is the ultimate, and the other guy is saying, well, you trying to get like me. And so I think the best lesson would have been them saying, okay, I peeped that game. That's interesting. Let me see if I could apply that a bit. And then the same for the other guy.
I got a little pushback though, just because what I would say is like who's out there like say if he's really out of like how who's out there really out there in suits on the fishing bank giving, hey man, you could be a commercial fisherman because you got one reel in the water and you out here drunk on the bank. Well, like how often does that happen? Does that really even
A lot
happen?
of times.
It does.
A lot of
Because you have a
times.
lot of
Yeah.
CEOs that come on vacation.
And they always talk like that. Ben Mala's a good example. He's a big YouTuber. He's always talking to normies. Like most people think like rich people are like untouchable. They're regular people. And they're often preaching this stuff, gospel, to their families, people they know, random people. We're always trying to bless some people with some information. Whether they want to take it or not, we just say it. Doesn't mean they have to do it.
Yeah, that's a fact. I get it, but you get to a certain point, like Scott Galloway. He said he got a mentorship where people pay him $250,000 a year just to have access to him. And these are people that he didn't have to fish for. It's people that's in the industry that know his value and they seek out his advice.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is in Scott Galloway's life also, when he's at a restaurant and he sees a barista or he sees a small businessman, he still might say something. He not like, nah, I don't only say it to people who pay me. Nah, there's some people in his real life that he just will say like, hey man, you should really try this. You should really think about this differently. I know, I'm rich. I'm telling you, we do it often. It's not a big thing. And then there's people we charge, right? The people who want to come to us for advice or whatever. And there's some people, not all people charge for consultations. Some people just do it because they just do it. Like what the hell can they get paid off a consultation that they ain't getting paid off in the real market? So most of them don't even open that. Plus then you can hold them liable for consultations. So that's a fucking risk, especially when you're paying somebody. So I would just say it always happens. People just provide that information. Just the old shit we think about nobody, the rich won't help. Nah, man. Ask the guy from School of Hard Knocks. How many times he pulling up on rich people and getting information out of them?
But he is relentless. I really admire that gentleman's hustle because he is relentless. Like John Hope Bryan say, he take no for vitamins. His no don't stop his strive. It don't stop his walk or nothing. You're like, it didn't work for that guy. Maybe it'll work on a guy that's 10 steps behind him. Like he's relentless when it comes to that.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, for sure. I admire his hustle. That's all I would just want to point out as far as that goes. Is how many people out there relentless when it comes to that. Like Eric Thomas say, when you want to be as successful as bad as you want to breathe, some things kind of start lining up for you.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's that drive, man. It ain't no other factor. I couldn't find anything after all these years. I'm trying to figure out why some people get here and it's all drive. Whatever their drive is, they'll create.
And I'm glad that you said the whole thing about being relentless because if you've ever read the book, The 1 Minute Millionaire, that's one of the things that they do talk about. They say that don't accept no for an answer. The key to success is to keep asking no until you hear no 3 times. Because usually you'll get the after the third no, you'll usually get a yes.
Now, see, I don't translate that into romance. Once I hear no, I take the no and I say, okay.
I hear you on that one. You and me both. But at the same time, sometimes You let these girls tell it. Oh yeah, man, I want to be pursued. I want to be courted. No, I because they want to be in that, gameplay. But that's only with the dudes that they like. So you just gotta be able to read the room on that one. If she don't like you, she gonna let you know she don't like you.
Yeah, I get that, but let's just keep it in context. If we're talking about the School of Hard Knocks, we done seen this gentleman get told no, and he's still following up with a question. And if they answer that question, guess what? He's gonna ask another question. Like when I say relentless, that's what I mean. He's like, no, I ain't got time today. Oh, just tell me how much you worth. And then if he get him to answer that, he asks him another question. Like he just rapid fire with it. So it's a little bit.
I hope he asks me, because I'm gonna charge him for financial harassment.
I said no. Think. I mean, the key. Somebody said in sales, okay, you're always gonna hear no, but you gotta have a rebuttal for the no.
Yeah, you do.
As they said, timid salesmen have skinny kids. I got that from Brian Flanagan, so you knew the sales.
Well, shout out to Rockefeller. He said, goddamn, he used to short his kids on money. They had to share bunk beds. They only got one gift apiece for Christmas and everything. And he was one of the richest men in the world. Well, supposedly one of the richest men in the world at the time.
Oh, I had a video on Rockefeller. I have to find that one, but I'll break it out another day. But I got these last two videos, and then we're gonna close out because I want to be able to clip this up. This was a great topic. I appreciate all of you all for joining. But let me get your responses on this. Hold on.
Shout out to Black Cleaning.
You dream, ideas, opportunities, and money. Freedom is also expensive. It costs you discipline.
Hold on. Sorry.
Comfort is expensive. It costs you dream, ideas, opportunities, and money. Freedom is also expensive. It costs you discipline, sacrifice, and consistency. The question is, which bill do you want to pay? One keeps you stuck, while one pays you back. For more content, follow.
That is dependency with better furniture. Real, this is where most people get confused. They think income means freedom. It doesn't. A salary can make you comfortable. It can pay your rent, your car, your vacations, your image. But comfort is not freedom, because the moment your income stops, your lifestyle starts collapsing. That is not wealth. That is dependency with better furniture. Real freedom begins when your life no longer depends only on your labor. There is a difference between making money and owning systems that make money.
What do y'all say about that? OTO?
Yeah, I'm all about it. Owning systems that make money. That's a big one. So I agree with that 100%. And then what was the first one again?
He was basically saying what the bill is or what the price you have to pay.
Oh yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. Remember when I said like both of them are hard. Like not to do what I did or do what anybody does to become financially literate. It's hard, yeah. But being also poor and broke and being financially illiterate, the bill for that is hard also. So both paths are difficult. There's no easy way out. We're all guaranteed an exit, which is death. And so we got to decide how we're going to live while we're alive. And both ways are hard. And so, I'd rather choose the one where I have the resources and the money. And I choose that hard versus not having it. And so I agree 100% with both of those videos. They were on point.
All right. Ronan?
I'm sorry. My mind is escaping me at this point.
Okay.
What was the first scenario with the brother sitting at the table? He confused the hell out of me. What was the point in the first one again?
He was basically saying both, there's two paths. There's comfort and there's freedom. Which bill do you want to pay? Because, freedom requires discipline. It requires uncertainty. It requires all of these things that, you have to endure in order to be able to maintain your freedom. Versus comfort It requires, lack of control. It requires, constant, work. So which bill
I don't
is it
believe
that
that.
you want to say it again?
Freedom, to me, and the way he was wording it, I don't agree with that. Your freedom comes with having to buckle down and do certain things. But I'm the kind of guy is once I learn a system, I know the system. Now it's not difficult for me to replicate it and to keep it going. So then I start getting comfortable. So yes, there's a process of learning something, but once you learn it, it's ingrained in you. Is it really hard to do it or replicate it? No, it's the struggle of learning it for the first time. But you know what you know, and that's from life experience and everything else that teaches you, besides for somebody teaching you and you're willing to absorb that information. But once you absorb it and you make it yours, you should be comfortable in execution and being able to re-execute it anytime you want. It shouldn't be a struggle after you learn it. The learning is the struggle. Once you learn it, it shouldn't be hard to replicate it over and over again. So I don't necessarily agree with that kid the way he said it. In order to obtain freedom.
Okay. And what about
Not
the second one? What about the having an income does not make you free? It's just
it doesn't.
comfortability
Especially if you're
with
working for
with
somebody
better
else.
furniture.
Even if you're working for somebody else, it does not make you free. You know, and the only reason I say that is it's not necessarily the income that doesn't make you free. It's what goal you have set in your head on why you need the income. Because you're always going to have that pressure behind what you're trying to prove. Who you're trying to prove it to? Yourself? Somebody else is watching you? What the fuck are you actually wanting to earn the money for?
Okay.
You know, so those are my mindsets. If I'm tracking what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I get it. And what about you, Charlie?
Here's the thing. Everybody got advice and things of that nature, but are they really living the advice that they're trying to give to you? You know what I mean? Like, everybody could get on here and say, oh, do this and it'll make you rich, but the person that did that it generally hasn't made them rich. I think just for the most part, like say what old dude was saying in the beginning, I don't agree with that as much. Like, do this, that, and the third, because a lot of things is circumstantial. Just because OTO went a certain way and it worked out for him, don't mean that it'll work out for me. And I get it. Like, say there is a such thing called as The Simple Path to Wealth, which is a dope ass book. I got it in my repertoire. I haven't got to it yet, but like there's circumstances and situations to where, like, say it's not gonna work. Like, say if you got in real estate right after it bust and everything went down and you bought it, like your results will be different than a person that bought at the high. So I'm saying all that to say everything is not like, oh, it's a one size fit all. You know what I mean? You have to look into your specific circumstances. That's just like the stock market isn't for everybody. Real estate isn't for everybody. Even though a lot of people have got an exorbitant amount of wealth by going either one of those paths. In fact, I will name two brothers that's on YouTube that I actively watch, and they both have two different strategies of getting to it. One of them is Richard Fain. He's more of a guy that's into stock market and things of that nature. He do dabble in real estate. But the other guy is Will Motivation. He's mainly real estate, and I'm sure he do have some stocks and stuff. Those are two different paths that has both been successful, but who's to say either one of those will work for me?
Okay. And the second one about your salary not being income.
Go ahead, OTO. OTO finna tell me how broke I am. Go ahead, OTO.
No, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say, and see, that's an interesting way of him saying that. You hear what he said, Black Cleaner? The stocks are for everybody, but everybody is not for the stocks because of their own story of what they tell themselves. Yeah, that's not me. That's not me. I'm not. That's what often I tell a lot of people how to make money or how to become wealthy. But guess what they often tell me as a rebut? About them and what they want. So it's not about achieving the goal. It's like, well, that's not me. I'm not that type of person. Oh, I couldn't do that, or because I was born like this. So again, it's really just people. People got their own reasons and their own stories. And so those stocks, anybody can buy them, right? They're not going to say, hey, you're black, or hey, you're from Alabama, you're not allowed to get it, or you're Chinese. Anybody can buy them. It's just up to the person.
Anybody can buy a house.
The person will be like, exactly, yeah. But somebody will say, that's not me. That's not my style. That's not for me. True. So again, they created that narrative for themselves. So that's their right. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying that's the reality. And that's what I deal with a lot of times. People are like, yeah, but nah, that's not me. So it's like, okay.
As a man thinketh.
So he shall
exactly. Be. I like that. Exactly what y'all was talking about, because everybody has their path and their story behind them on what their program is. So therefore they're going to follow what fits for them. And not everything is for everybody, as you all just said.
But here's the biggest thing, and I gotta say this out loud. Everybody on this panel has their own life experience and their personal experiences in order to get where they are at this point in time that we're all speaking on this panel. You had Anthony Robbins, you have Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Dan Kiyosaki, which we just talked about. All these are motivational speakers. Dan more so on the wealth side of it. The others are more on motivating you in sales, motivating you on performance. Even though you know what you know, it still takes some kind of drive within you. And I think O2O touched on that. Doesn't matter what you know, if you don't fucking apply it, you're not going nowhere. There's so many people that know a lot of shit that don't do or act on the shit they know. They are marking time, but they're not applying themselves and the knowledge they have. And that's the whole reason why you got all these popular motivational speakers. They're not necessarily teaching you nothing you don't already know. They're trying to motivate you to get up off your ass, to actually apply what you know to get down the fucking road.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We have a lot of people don't have a lot of self-drive.
Ronnie, I got an idea. I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been thinking about starting like a lesbian fighting league, and I want to call it Stud Fights. What you think about that?
I'm done with you, bro. What's wrong with you, man?
Really? You gonna do that on my channel, Charlie?
Oh, we gotta shake it up a little bit. Like, you don't think Stud Fights will take off?
Some people might be interested in that.
And I wanted to add, like, I think it's completely like, I got a lot. Sometimes I have mentees that come to me and they're like, "Yo, Bert, thanks for everything you did." And I'm like, I always tell them, I would like to take the compliments, but it's not me. It's 95% you. You made the decision, bro. You know how many people I say this shit to and they go in one ear and out the other?
Yeah.
It's like something was inside you before I ever arrived that made you to decide to listen to me, was receptive of what I was saying, and followed up with action. It's all you. Don't put me in the picture. Don't map me out to be no God. I'm not. I'm a conduit of some information, but information ain't shit. We got an overload of it. We got all the information anybody can ever get.
A lot of them fucking know it all, but ain't nobody doing it.
Exactly. It's all about action.
My apologies. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say. So if I'm hearing you right, you saying that you want to be an investor in Stud Fights?
No, I'm not hating on your idea though. I ain't hating on your idea.
I'm joking with you. Don't fry me, bro. I'm just joking with you.
Now, I never start, an idea, because if somebody came to most people and said, I'm going to do that slap competition, they would have said that's stupid. But look at it now.
And then the president of USC is actually the one running the league.
Yeah, that's crazy. Exactly. And who would have thought, right? It was just dudes slapping people. Like, come on, get out of here with that. But now it's a serious thing. So you never know. I mean, especially considering where the world's going, that might actually really be something. So
Stud fight. If somebody do that, bro, I'm pulling up and I'm fighting somebody.
Hey, you better get that shit documented right now, man.
Well, you said it. You ain't had no action to it, so that was the
Right,
difference
that's a
again,
fact.
right?
That's a fact. Nah. I was if somebody make it happen, more power to them. It was just a joke. Like, stud fights. Like, so many of them want to be like this, that, and the third. Let's get them in the ring.
But the only thing I would say, that especially for me,
Sharika Jerome.
is me as somebody who knows how people work. I say this, or at least I think I do. I say this. I have no problem if you want to be the fisherman on the bank. I have no problem if you don't want to have the same drive. I actually like it. I'm not really mad at it. The only thing I know that's going to happen is when that fish don't turn up, or when that lake is dry, you're going to try to come and take what I got because you're saying I have too much. That is where we stay enemies. And I think most average people are going to be my enemies, or anyone else, because they're in that scarcity. And so if some environmental factor happens and they're forced to be pushed into extreme scarcity, they're going to take what I have created on my plate. They're going to take from me. It's not going to be no more let live, you live the life. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be no, oh, you can live your life the way you want and I'll live mine. It's going to be, well, he has too much. He needs to break off a slice to all of us.
Yeah.
That's what it always comes down to. That's what they do with the wealthy now. Jeff Bezos go out there and build a business.
Hold on.
It's
I'll
been
give you
like
some
that
pushback.
throughout
Do you
time,
think
though.
it really does do that? I mean, because as I
100%.
have to go back to what I was saying before. Okay, if I know how to grow my own food in my backyard, why am I worrying about you having too much if I already have my nice garden over here?
Because you had a drought this year, my good brother.
And that happens. And you have nothing else.
Yeah, you had a drought this year. You was waiting on it. It was a big harvest and everything, and you had a drought. Now OTO over there looking, smiling.
I'm not in a
every
drought.
time you see him.
I'm dipped in butter.
You know what I mean?
I'm great.
Yeah. Every time you see him, he got to be smiling and joking and shit like that. You thinking like, oh, he got more than he need.
He got more than what he need.
Yeah.
And I need what he got.
He can stand a few parcels.
Yeah.
Sound like Black Wall Street to me.
No, it sounds like most of y'all always say.
Sound like Rosewood to me.
Sound like normies
to me.
Sounds like most people. You keep making it about your misery and your blackness. You see what I'm saying?
But
you have
you
to
just
go
said
beyond
it.
that.
You said we was over here thriving and doing all of this, and they was in a drought. They wasn't letting us put our money.
But
in
what
that
I'm saying
bank.
is, when you making
and then
it
all
a
of a
black
sudden,
thing, everybody
Black
deals
Friday
with that.
happened or whatever. The stock market
Everybody
crashed,
deals
the
with
Great
that.
Depression happened, and then all of a sudden it's
They
look
didn't
at them
come
black
to you.
folks over there. They had too much.
Okay, so
Remember, this is
what?
a black channel, so I'm just trying to.
But guess what? Fight. Be an inspirational black channel. Stop being a passive black channel. Fight. That's life. They supposed to come and slap you upside your head. That's called life. You a grown man. Aren't you supposed to be Wakanda-ish? Aren't you supposed to be prepared for strategy? Prepared for war? Where was your covert? Where was your overt operations?
Being used.
Where was your CIA? Where was your power? Where was your warriors?
Shout out to Dr.
Oh man, we got attacked. Yes, you did. You're a grown man. That's why black women don't want to F with you. Because you sound like you a loser. They came and beat us up. Get hands. Learn how to fight. What else do you want me to tell you?
Squabble.
Learn how to squabble. They not supposed to squabble. They shouldn't have did that. They jealous. It don't matter. The end result is they got better hands than you and they took it from you.
All that hard work.
That's called life. Wakanda, Africans, Shaka Zulu would have did it to you. Stop making it about white folks. Shaka Zulu did it to you. I don't hear you crying about that. Anybody would have do it to you. They ain't gotta be white. They could be black. They could be this. They could be that. The only reason you up in there is because Shaka Zulu beat you up and put you on a damn boat and sold you off in the first place. And I'm not even mad at that neither. I'm just saying, get muscle. It's a part of life. You're talking about it like it should not be a part of life. Defend yourself. What do you mean, bro? You got all this. You got all the Jews. You got all the gold. And you got your door unlocked. talking about they beat me up, they took my gold, they was hating on me. No, you was a sucker, and you left your door unlocked, so it got picked. You were lit. Tragedy of war.
I got a little pushback on that, OTO.
Go ahead.
Why would you have to pick a door that's unlocked?
Hold on.
Yeah, facts.
Hold on.
I'm fucking.
Hold on.
Because
Hold
I'm gonna put
on.
insult to entry. I'm gonna pick your lock and it's already unlocked. Show you how much of a sucker you was.
Hold on, because I done been in some of these gated communities. As I even told the story where I was in a gated community in Atlanta, Johns Creek, sorry, and actually Future lived in that gated community, and pretty much the majority of those people in that gated community leave their doors unlocked. Because I went to one person's house and he was on a plane to Europe, and I was there because he had a water leak in his finished basement, and I had to go over there and do my restoration job. And he was just like, "Yo, doors unlocked. Go up in there, do what you need to do. There's a refrigerator down there. If you want to take a drink, go ahead, take a drink." And I went up in there and I'm like, wow, it's crazy that these people are able to do this. So, I mean, people do, have their doors unlocked but at the same time too, okay, I understand. Let somebody come up in there and not be on some honorable, like you just said. If somebody was the lick, I mean, looking at this dude as the lick, we already know what the repercussions was going to be.
Exactly.
So it's like based on his reputation. We talked about the elephant with the leash, or the dog, that's been conditioned. You already know, you go over here thinking that this dude is a lick. Once he gets back from Europe, he coming for you. He gonna get you.
Yeah, but see, that's in your mind. Again, the white man's Thanos to y'all. So that's why y'all always be losing. But Chinese don't think like that. They don't got your poor broke ass struggle crying every damn day about their had-nots and what they had to do. They got, what did they get taken away from Ronan? Hong Kong, Taiwan, a couple Mouch. They had a 5,000 year empire. But what they do, get busy. Now they're the strongest, second most powerful country in the world.
And they came over here.
You notice you said second, right, Charlie?
Second, yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yeah, I'm part of the American empire, bro. Like, what?
Hold up. And then they came over here on boats and worked the trains until they got
the trains. Yep, was getting slacked up, getting them subjugated and all that other stuff. But they kept getting busy. And within one generation. But see, that's how China, if you listen to Chinese people, I've been with them, they speak like, yo, we're going to get our power back, we're going to be on one. I speak to you blackies, and you'll say, well, it'll never change, not in our generation.
Yeah, that hurt.
Don't they say that?
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I say harsh shit. Malcolm X said harsh shit. He didn't keep it light to y'all. I don't remember Malcolm X saying no light words, no kissy, no nice words to you guys. He said the same shit. So at the end of the day, they had to go through the struggle too. They had dope in their community too, the opium wars. They call it a whole opium war. And they had 1 and number 2.
Mm-hmm.
They had struggles too, but they got busy. They got back power and they built on themselves. Period. And guess how they built them too? They infused themselves with Europeans. They didn't even say, oh, I'm going to stand off from you. What did they do? Say, hey, we'll take your manufacturing. Hey, we'll work with you. We'll build out your economy. We'll be your little errand boys. We'll make all your apps. We'll make all your products and services. Yeah, we'll be your cheap labor factories. Okay, cool. We play our position. And where are they at now? Now we need them. Checkmate. One generation. Exactly. But I listen to you black leaders, you black men. Y'all are like, it'll never be in our generation.
There's a difference between being the errand boy and then trying to align yourself and be, thinking that you are one of them. See, as you just said,
that's the difference though. That's the difference though. And here's the thing. And this is why I came up, because I came up through the underlinks. I get it. All you guys are well to do and things like that. But I came up, and here's the thing, like say, in growing up, especially, and I know OTO gonna go crazy on this, but like there's hierarchies. I came up as a dude boy, but guess who else did? Bumpy Johnson. Guess who else did? What's his John Gotti? A lot of you know what I mean. You gotta learn, and
Lead,
guess
yeah,
what
you
I
gotta
call
learn
that is
to serve before you learn how to lead.
exactly. You gotta start in the mailroom before
Yeah, I
you
ain't
move
mad at
up
those
to.
guys.
Okay,
They fought against
okay.
the Irish. They fought against the Italians.
Okay, I just knew black
Y'all
men
was
like
too
that's why
scared to
you
do
broke
that.
now because you like Bumpy Johnson.
No.
Nah,
The lessons
I'm the
could be
cleaner.
extracted from there.
That's one of the reasons. That's one of the things that I encourage, because me being in the industry that I'm in, all right, I've been on a lot of major commercial construction projects as a cleaner. But guess what? That allowed me to align myself with people who had better or more professional skills. You know, people who build forums, you know, do concrete. So if I wanted to either one, you know, network with them and have them do, you know, help me out, or if I wanted to learn what it is that they do so I could improve my skills, it allows me to elevate. Just like, you know, when I first started, I was in pest control because my father taught me the skills of pest control. And I started going on a lot of these commercial construction contracts, accounts, checking traps. But then the pest control market got saturated. I got into the cleaning, you know, hazardous waste cleanup, BP oil spill. Started doing that. Then I started, and then I talked to somebody who was working at the refineries. They was like, yo, there's no oil in Atlanta where you're at. You know, the refineries are here, but guess what? They have a disaster recovery industry. You know what I'm saying? The people who chase the hurricanes and do floods and fires and crime scene cleanup, they make the same amount of money. And it's pretty much they're doing the same thing. They're just not cleaning up oil. They're cleaning up floods. They're cleaning up, you know, fire. They're cleaning up, you know, biohazard, stuff like that. Go into that industry. And then I ended up in this and becoming the cleaner. And then I could elevate and become the builder. You see what I'm saying? So you just got to start from somewhere and then learn how to build, as O2O and Ronan and you, Charlie Chan was saying. Nice. Build your skills. Don't just stay comfortable. Get out of your comfort zone. Reinvent yourself. Elevate yourself. So yeah, I'm all for that.
I robbed from corporations and made it my own. I took every best practice in the world and applied it to my own business. Facts. I took everything they taught me and applied it to myself to benefit myself.
Facts. And that's one of the things that my brother taught me too, because when I was going along, you know, my older brother, he was already in pest control, and I started going into these companies, and I'm working as an employee, all happy, you know, getting the technical training and the training to be a technician. He's all like, yeah, that's all well and good. All right, well, yeah, bring home their marketing. Go in their office and go get some of their marketing paraphernalia. You know, let's see what their price sheet looks like. You know, he's got me up in there looking like a spy, getting all of their proprietary information. Like I should have had a little camera in the office getting all of this stuff. And then, you know, he would actually show me, okay, you see the price sheet. So you see how you can what you can base your prices on. You see their marketing material. This is how you can, you know, copy and draft your marketing material to do for your own business. So then when you start to learn how to connect the dots, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the person who was picking the cotton, they didn't know how to take the cotton and go to the cotton mill and, you know, negotiate, you know, how much they're going to get the cotton mill for. But guess what? If they did, they would have been untouchable. All they knew is what the right hand was doing. Pick this cotton, don't get blisters, or don't get your hands cut while you're picking this cotton, and make sure that you make weight. But if they understood the why,
they knew that. Black people went to the patent office. Bad people created the cotton gin.
George Washington Carver.
Yeah, they knew that. They just didn't have the freedom to be in the market. They didn't have the freedom to be in the market. They still had the skill set. They didn't have access to it in the same level because the systems wasn't built out for them to have the ownership. But they knew all the skill set. That's why they built Black Wall Street. When they got free, they were on one. They were able to build communities. Most white people didn't have skills that were applicable. So they didn't know how to build construction companies to refine oil. But black people were all the laborers. So they had all the skills once they returned and allowing to have ownership. So it wasn't that was the issue. Black people were very educated, very skilled, even as slaves. It was different types of black people. We only look at the plantation hands. There's many different slaves that do different functionalities that the master needed for his actual plantation. It wasn't just picking cotton. There was multitude of things. And so you could see him as the CEO, but he had a CFO, a CTO, and then he had managers and supervisors that were all just black people. They weren't white folks. White people was mostly like hands, bodyguards, yes, but they were just, that's all they knew. Spit tobacco, shoot the guns. They didn't know how to read neither. Them white people was like, they didn't know shit neither. So they was effed up. You ever seen Django? Them guys didn't know how to talk. They didn't know how to write. They didn't know that. But who's that nigga up on that there? He knew how to write. He knew how to prepare the contracts. He knew how to move it. Yeah, he ran the business when Mr. Candy was gone. He had the stamp. He stamped all the documents and put together the deeds.
And he's the one that identified the fucking scam. He said, those niggas know her.
Exactly. He put inception in the ideas. Like, nah, we castrate ninjas all the time. Take them down to, this place instead. So, I mean... Yeah, the Dickey brothers. Yeah. The Dickey guys got it worse than that. So I think we got a bright future, and especially as of right now, if you want to take it to that black community stuff, cool. Look, bro, the white boys, they looking in the past. They not out here really fighting. They not prepared. They overweight. They not prepared. They want handouts.
Reginald F. Lewis.
They come from generations of wealth. They not hungry. They not really out here built. It's mostly Asians coming out here killing the game. It's Asians out here leading in America, not only just in wealth, but also income. It's mostly Asians that are AI scientists in America. Not white boys. They barely holding on. They still looking to the factories and the oil refineries and what it used to be. So that's what I'm saying. Competition is light work. And the nation's going to do whatever it needs. That's why watch this. Even with Donald Trump, watch this, Charlie. Even with Donald Trump, when they were trying to push him on that H-1B visas, he was like, nah, I got to stand on it. And all MAGA was mad. Like, you can't support no H-1B visas. He was like, him and Elon did it. And all them white boys was mad. Because why? They hate them even though they winning. So it don't matter if you losing or winning. People just going to hate. And that's in any culture. That's not just white people. You go to Thailand and you be winning. You go to the Philippines and you be winning, opening up businesses, making more money than the Philippines. What they going to do, Ronan? Pass some laws so your bitch ass is losing.
Hey, you know what I heard? Just to build on top of that, a motherfucker told me this a long time ago when I was in, like, whatever. There's no sympathy for winners, bro. There is no sympathy for winners. You don't get a parade or motherfucker getting to understand your point of view. If you a winner, you a winner. And that just is what it is. There's no sympathy for winners. But I learned there. Unless OTO, you got a rebuttal to that I haven't heard of, but I've heard many a times, like, no, if you
that's on point.
No, oh, okay.
Plus, I'm about to go have breakfast in Switzerland, so I'm out.
No.
All right. Well, shout out to me to the comments. Shout out to Chalupe. Yeah. Brother took the same shuttle you took to get to the island in Panama. Shout out to you. Let's see.
Hey, have you, speaking of Panama, have you hooked up with Chavoverse?
Nah, he's out here.
Yeah, he just moved out there.
He's gonna blow that shit up, bro. Panama
he
is
just
done.
literally moved out there. They have a place.
Panama is done.
Cool. All right.
I wondered if you had actually
Shout out
heard
to
that
my
he
brothers,
was there
Mr.
and then was going to look him up to maybe do some joint content or something. At least doing
that'd be great. I definitely would want to do that. Definitely. Because I definitely want to. I was waiting for DC PRT to get out here. He keeps on talking about he's gonna get a spot out here, but he hasn't been out here yet.
Yeah, he been out there once though, right?
Yeah, he came out here to meet me. We met up.
Okay.
Pause.
So the cavalry is on the way, Black Planet. Believe me, the cavalry is on the way.
I see.
Yeah.
I definitely see. All right, who's
Who
this?
King?
Uncle
What,
Guns.
is King still there? Is King still on here with us?
He's probably in the background doing his thing.
Okay.
He's watching the game. Remember?
Oh shit! I did forget the game was on. But,
Connect true wealth, practicing and meeting skill, mastering skills.
Mastering
yes,
skill,
that's
yeah,
my
for sure.
point. Shout out to
Uncle
Uncle Guns. Thank you for
Thank you
Your
for the
comment.
ultimate mod. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I see a lot of these people got these wrenches. I need to give
Yeah,
out
man.
some wrenches.
Those are my guys. Uncle
I
Gun's
see.
been around forever, man. I'm happy to have him as a mod. We'll be modding for some big people. I'm just a little fish. In his
well,
pond.
I can't speak for you a bigger fish than we are. But I can't speak for everybody. But you got to know I got a lot of brothers that I really rock with that got wrenches on my channel. Like you see Mr. Peppers with a wrench, you see Prime with a wrench. I think Tam had a wrench, and it's like 2 more people that have wrenches over there. And these are people that's been rocking with me from day one. So I already know like it's nothing but love there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Anybody want to read this comment?
Yeah, I can read it. Black Lex, salute to you, brother. He says, I think sometimes we get caught up in the concept of wealth as Americans. Sometimes we should live life instead of slaving away, and life passes you by. Absolutely.
100% agree. We wasn't meant to slave our lives away.
Yeah. That is the point of why we geo arbitrage, why we get out of the mentality of America and figure out what's going to make us happy, not what the dictation is in America of success, because it's different. It's measured in different ways by different people. However you measure your success is however you measure it. It doesn't have to measure up to the ideology of America. Who's pushing that narrative? That's really what you need to ask. Who's pushing the narrative of what's successful and what isn't?
Okay. All right, let's see. Who's that one? 916 Hellas.
916 Hellas. That's another one, my God. If a woman don't love you more than you love yourself, there's other fish in the sea. You dig? Absolutely.
You dig?
Okay. With the Richie Matt.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Like I said, y'all have to have it in a mindset that we've been programmed. And I'm sorry, it started off as a single mom, whoever it was that helped raise you. You were pre-programmed to bow down to the feminine side of our community, any way, shape, or form. And they leverage that against you. And sometimes you guys have a limited mindset when it comes to the value you bring to the family, the value you bring to the relationship. Y'all have a limited mindset. One walks out the door, there's about 10 other competing to get in your door. But you got to see it that way. Stop holding on like you holding on to your last dollar, squeezing the ink off of it.
These last $2.
Let go and let God. Believe me, another one will come your way. Just stay focused on your purpose. Continue to grow your resources, your wealth, and the things. But be cautious, because once you grow those, guess what? There's going to be so many beating down your door. Now you don't know why they're after you. Are they after you for you, or all the resources you've already accumulated that they can see? Because you're going to show them. They're going to see it and they go, damn, he's doing so much better. Just like every girl that turns around and circles a fucking block. She goes out and does her thing. She circles back around and says, damn, he's doing a lot better. I'm a little envious. Maybe I need to check him out again. Hey, big head. Nah, we ain't going down that road again. There was a reason why you walked out that door and why I let you walk out the door. Bye. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. You know what? I appreciate you checking on me. But our time has passed. And it will never be again. I ain't say you can't hit it. Just don't get attached to
I would like to quote, if I may, a popular poet in contrast to this, where he said, I am not a iller, but don't push me. Revenge is the sweetest joy next to getting. There you go. Yeah, if you're not old enough for that, it wasn't for you.
R.I.P. Tupac.
You gotta know it. You gotta know it. You know what I mean? Like, let them. Like, I'm a firm believer in the biggest.
Let me address Molly.
Go ahead.
Molly. Let me say this real quick. It's hard to be free being crazy in debt in America. You're right. Your best choice is the geo arbitrage. If you ain't got an 800 credit score by the time you come back to America after leveraging your money in another country, that means you have lower overhead. You can pay down that debt. As long as you ain't trying to outspend what you're doing in the other country. See, a lot of our problems is we have the desire to push ourselves to spend more money than we make. That's why you're broke within a couple of days of you getting your paycheck. You're living above your means. If you can draw down the cost of your living versus what you offset in your bills, you can put money down. You can pay down your credit cards. You can fix your credit report. But that's the thing. If you're in America and you got that American mindset, you're always wanting to buy so you can impress somebody. If you're over here, I don't even know what's going on in America unless somebody points it out to me. I mean, I have people calling me right now and say, "Oh, you all right? All right? There's an earthquake." Yeah, that was in Mindanao. That's down south. I'm up in the mountains in a whole nother part of the country. So I don't even know what you guys know. I didn't even realize it was Memorial Day. I'm a veteran because it's just not on my mind. So when you're overseas and you're putting money up, that's how you can pay down. So you should be able to go back to the United States way better off than when you left it. I plan on going back. I ain't staying here. I'm bougie in a way. I am giving up a lot of my creature comforts being here. But for right now,
also add to that, Ronnie.
Let me finish. For right now, what I'm learning, what I'm doing as far as AI, is I have the peace of mind to where I can focus on that and not having to worry about the overhead for being in America. You get what I'm saying? But after a while, I'll circle back. Definitely. But go ahead, Charlie.
No, what I was gonna say about that, Molly Mall, like say you're not experiencing anything that the vast majority of Americans have experienced. It simply come down to, are you gonna handle that, or are you just gonna be in the debt for the rest of your life? Because I believe debt is the new slavery. Because every dollar that you work for, it don't belong to you, it belongs to someone else. Can you imagine a world to where your future dollars that you work for doesn't belong to you, it belongs to someone else? Now, with that being said, there are certain groups and mentorship that you could get into that'll walk you through how to get out of such turmoil. Because that is the play for America. Get them in as much debt as possible and just live off of them. Because in certain religions, they look at, not even in majority of religions, they look at like debt with interest as blasphemy. That's why as certain religious people, and I don't want to say their name, but you could go to their bank as one of them and get a loan for minimum interest. You see what I'm saying? So you're not going through anything that's unique. You just have to like make a decision and ride it out. Me personally, you guys have seen my apartment, bro. I'm finna downgrade to, it's something crazy. Like where I'm downgrading to, it's nuts. But here's the thing: why I'm downgrading, just off of that downgrade, I'll be able to afford an apartment in a different country with no sweat off my back, because it's the same thing coming out, but I get access to more. So with that, I land. But Molly Mod, what you're saying is nothing unique to your own specific situation, and it can be fixed. It's been people that said they've been in $600,000 worth of debt and they worked their way out of it. So it's just all in what you want to do, my good brother. I land there.
All right. Well, we're approaching on the 12 o'clock hour. Well, shoot, we're past. We're approaching on the 1 o'clock hour. So I'm about to close out. I appreciate you all coming on this topic. Do you all have any final words? We can start with Charlie Chan, since you was the last one. You can be the first. The last shall be first.
Okay, I have a hard problem debating against that. Yeah, no, this is Charlie Chan with Charlie Chan TV, just pulling up to support the good brother Black Cleaner. We gotta foster these conversations over here, because if we don't, who will? You know what I mean? Like, there's not other platforms or other communities that you could go to where they put our problems on the forefront and not only discuss them, but we dissect them. So we got to support channels like Black Cleaners, Minds, Ronins, and things of that nature. Because if we don't support ourselves, who would? Who will? So once again, this is Charlie Chan with Charlie Chan TV. You guys stay tuned to the next episode. Appreciate everybody that's pulling up. Appreciate Black Cleaner for allowing me on this panel. And y'all have a blessed night.
All right. Appreciate you being on, brother. Really do. Ronan.
Yes, sir.
You got any final words?
All I can say is, being comfortable and free are up to your definition of what that is to you. Don't worry about anybody's perception of you. Don't worry about how people are trying to judge you when they're not helping you with a goddamn thing. What do you need to prove to them? You need to prove it to yourself. You get what I'm saying? Get your shit together. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing or how they're doing it. Get out of that American mindset. There's nothing wrong with living overseas, whether it be temporary or permanent. It's up to you. What you're doing is leveraging your American earning potential somewhere else where you can get your head together, start a business, do whatever you need to do. And maybe you do circle back around, or maybe you stay out of the country. That's up to you as well. You might find a country you get very comfortable with and you want to stay. But don't let anybody predetermine your level of success and what makes you feel successful. That's up for you to determine. Okay? Too many other societies out here making way less. I live in a country right now where they barely make $450 a fucking month. And even offer just $3,000 a month, and I make way more than that. You're at the top 4 percentile in this country. Why wouldn't you leverage that so you can get even further ahead in the goals that you want to attain over a long period of time? This is a marathon, not a race. You don't have to be winning right off the bat. You can build to win longer. But you just got to take that first step. Stop talking about it and execute on your plans. Too many people out here have all the plans in the world and are super smart. You see some of them get on this panel, but they're not applying what they know. They're not doing the things they're saying. They need to step up and do what they need to do in order to get ahead in life.
Amen.
Amen. I kind of felt that brick.
I didn't
kind of hit me a little bit. What?
No,
wasn't it like when you in church and feel like the pastor talking to you? I'm like, damn, right?
You over in Panama right now. You doing things. You over there doing it. You an example to some of the ones that are paralyzed, like even Charlie Chan said. Paralysis analysis.
Mm-hmm.
You overanalyze. There is no fucking perfect time to do shit. You just got to do it. There ain't going to be a perfect time, a perfect alignment. That's some bullshit.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true.
Okay.
Well, I thank everybody for joining the panel. Thanks for everybody who's in the comments. I appreciate everybody. Tune in next week. We're going to get back. I try to keep this thing on a cycle. So we already did Messy Love Mondays. We just did Money Mindset Mondays today. That's on the shelf. So we're going to go into Black Fatigue, where we're going to talk about race again. So we'll be talking about that. I look forward to having you all in on the panel. I'll put out the thumbnail later this week. And this is the Black Cleaner. Everything that they said, I co-sign. You know, what you do with your life, whatever path that you choose, it's up to you. Just choose it and walk down it. You know, do not stay in analysis paralysis. Me, I chose the freedom route. I chose to sacrifice my comfort to be able to be free. Okay. And I'm going to continue down my path until I can get the knowledge, the mindset, the skill set, the tool set to be able to master and improve myself and build my empire, build my legacy, and then get to the part, and then I'll go for the comfortability. But I'm starting with being free first. Some people, what I've realized, they want to start with the comfort. But guess what? The top is the top. That's what you'll start to figure out. And, you know, I'm gonna tie it all into 50 Cent, Diddy, and, you know, Daphne Joy. The reason that they know each other is because they all at the top of, you know, they ain't broke in the hood nowhere. They sitting in, you know, clubs. They sitting in, you know, high-rise rooftop bars and hotels, and they're meeting each other in these places. So what happens is once you start down your path and you grow and you develop and you start to master what you're able to master down your path, you get to the top and you start to realize, oh, okay, we're all up here as one big community. We're all winners. Charlie Chan talks about it all the time when he goes into the Shantarian Lounge. He's happy to see, you know, other brothers up in there because it's like a code. It's like, oh, we made it. That's what happens. You don't know what path they took in order to get there, but they in there. So the key thing is to stop just being comfortable doing nothing. Freedom does not come from comfortability of doing nothing. It does not come from being ignorant and stupid. It comes from taking action, learning, growing, and develop. The same thing with comfortability. You want comfort, you want power, you got to get out there and you got to take it. Power is not given, it's taken. So you got to learn what you got to do in order to grab those brass rings and ride up to the top. And I'll see you there because I'm on my way myself. And my community is on their way along with me. All right? And I'm going to end there. Bro. I appreciate you all for joining the panel. I tune in next week. I'm the Black Cleaner. I don't know if Keem is still on live. If he's not, if he doesn't answer within 10 seconds, I'm about to end the live. Keem, you there?
Great live though, bro.
Absolutely.
I appreciate this live because, you know, we definitely need to talk about finance. We need to talk about freedom. And also we need to talk about getting with the people who have the like minds. You know, the only way that we can find the people who have the like minds is if we broach the topic and see what everybody is thinking. And then you'll be able to determine who's on the same path, who's on the same frequency as you. Well, he's not on here, so I'm gonna end the live. I appreciate you all. This is the Black Cleaner signing out. Peace.
Deuce.
Should be the outro video.